watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Hello and welcome to this Prairie View Cricket Complex. I'm Om Patel, joined by Peter Della Penna in this second match, this second set of matches in this Super 4 that we're seeing. These Super 8s all around the Pacific Conference Super 4 that'll feature the Dallas Mustangs and the Silicon Valley Strikers. You look at the Silicon Valley Strikers and they're playing 11. They're led up top by Lahiru Malanta and Rahul Jariwala. Then you look at Arshbush, Akash Sundarsan, Shehan Jayasuriya, Pranay Suri, Ravindra Paul Singh, Gary Graham, Ishwar Jats Sohi, Srinivas Raghavan, and Saurabh Netravalkar. And we'll get to see the exploits of Malanta and Jariwala early, opening the batting for the Mustangs. It's the same team as yesterday. Noman Anwar, Andres Kaus, Sujat Gowda, Hamad Azam, Ali Sheikh, Nashtosh Kenjige, Ninad Nimblekar, Adnan Haroon, Ruman Raez, Ehsan Adil, and Rushil Grekar. That same 11 that features so many Major League cricketers. Speaking of Major League cricketers, we're going to get to see two straight away. Lahiru Malanta is a member of the Texas Super Kings, and Ehsan Adil, member of the champion MI New York sides. Both of these two off-season acquisitions by their respective franchises. Malanta from the Raptors, Adil from the Golden State Grizzlies. Ball one. And starts off well, Ehsan Adil, who's been nursing a knee injury. You just want to take a look at that throughout the course of the day. Peter, welcome back. Set of matches number 2 here.
Most impressive thing I've seen today so far, Aman, is digging deep with the epiglottis on the house. Andre's house.
I spent a lot of time around Dane Pete, and he's made sure that we've gotten that one going.
You got it. They take pride in that pronunciation. You got to get it. Got to get it down. I can tell the practice has been there far more than myself. I'm still working on it.
Still searching for his first runs, Malanta, and Ehsan Adil looks to be much better in terms of his fitness today as compared to yesterday, where he was kind of hobbling along through his overs. Did bowl 3 of them, but today looks to be charged up, running in, firing the balls out. Usual pace that we see from Adil.
And a slightly different opening combo. Jariwala opening the batting today for the Strikers. A couple seasons ago, we spent an awful lot of time opening the batting, and then last year, when Unmuk Chand was there for a full season, Jariwala got shuffled down the order to 7-8. But today, back opening the batting in place of Akash Sundaresan. Jariwala came in at 4 yesterday, out for 8. So there's been a couple of changes. Arsh Butch coming into the lineup. Today, some shuffling up and down the order as well. See if it works for the Strikers coming off the loss to the East Bay Blazers.
Big shout straight away. Hits him high on the legs, but Ehsan Adil, again, saying, was it high? And yeah, it would have to be the question. You see Malanta gesturing, it's got him very, very high up on that leg.
How tall, how short do you think I am, Ehsan Adil? That's what he's saying. Come on now. Almost hit me in the hip, almost hit me in the box, and you're appealing. Settle down.
Well, it's been a tough go for Lahiru Malanta this season. Last year was amongst the top run scorers in all the Atlantic Conference. Was second only to Rakeem Cornwall, and that's the kind of season he was having. But with the Silicon Valley Strikers this year opening the batting, has not been able to replicate that same success. Down the track, chipped up over the offside. It'll be a couple of runs, the first runs for the Strikers, as they'll come back for 2. Malanta this season, even though might not be at his fluent best, still 350s to his name. 267 runs, striking it over 120. and has been on and off behind the stumps. More so we've seen Rahul Jariwala as of late with gloves in hand. A good first over this from Ehsan Adil. Just 2 runs coming from it. 1 over gone, 2 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Well, 2 runs from that first over, all being bowled to Lahid Walanta. We'll get our first look at Rahul Jariwala, who in this part of the world made his USA debut down in Pearland. Peter, you were there. What can you tell me about the young man?
Well, it's been an up and down journey for Jariwala. He was here actually in 2021 that he had a miserable USA Under-19 National Championships, was left out of the USA Under-19 squad as a result. And remarkably, 7-8 months later at the Men's National Championships right here at the same venue, was one of the leading scorers in the event, scored 2 centuries, and that got him selected for the men's team.
As this one's pushed into the onside as Ruman Rais comes in with ball in hand.
And then didn't capitalize on his opportunities with the men's team. Had a decent start on debut against UAE, couldn't convert it, and then people will remember he was at the crease on strike for the final ball, that tied match against Nepal. And I feel he really unfairly took a lot of the blame for that last ball finish. Never, ever, ever should have come down to the final over. Monang Patel and Stephen Taylor both had centuries in that game. USA was cruising in that game, and they really stuffed up, I feel, long before the final over. And in some ways, Rahul Jariwala was unfairly made a scapegoat for that, when the responsibility should have been on the shoulders of the senior players to get USA across the line. And since then, he's kind of fallen back in the pecking order. He's out of the USA squad now, but this weekend, perfect opportunity to showcase himself, to get back in the eyes of the selectors, to put forward his case to get back into the USA squad.
Speaking of being a perfect opportunity, Rahul Jariwala has one. Talk about Ruman Rais. He's, again, not one of the names you talk about from this Mustang setup coming into the year, but yesterday proved as to why he's right up there amongst the leading wicket takers for his side. 3 wickets yesterday, and never let his team really falter, never let the Lone Star Athletics get going. Picking up big wickets, one of Cheyenne Jayasuriya, took Milind Kumar as well. Was his opening spell, just got the Mustangs out to a great start with the ball.
Yeah, so many weapons. Even without Corey Anderson here, this Mustangs lineup is just incredibly stacked. You've got Ruman Rais, you've got Nash Kenjige, you've got Ali Sheikh, Andries Gauss.
So many options indeed, Peter, and again, still even haven't talked about maybe even Sujit Gowda and Noman Anwar, 2 of the better bats across minor league cricket. That's why this team was heavy favorites coming into the season.
Got Hamad Azam, and you look at Rishi Ramesh, the USA Under-19 captain, sitting on the bench.
As Jariwala gets this one through covers, very well done. This is a man who's played for USA, and he'll pick up 4 runs.
Shots like these are why he was selected in the first place. He's a confidence player. When he's feeling good, he'll unload an attack, and you can see when he's not feeling good. Kind of the technique doesn't really change, but just the approach changes. This early start here, he looks confident. And again, he's been in and out of the USA senior side. He's still only 19. He's got so many years ahead of him. So now that he's been out of the side, chance to regroup, reevaluate things, and hopefully come back for the better.
In the air for a moment, but we'll get a single to close out this second over. One that sees 7 runs come from it, 9 without loss.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Well, Silicon Valley Strikers in to bat first. I have to see another over of Ihsan Adil. Rahul Jadiwala watched the first over from the non-strikers end. This time on strike, slip in place. That's Noman Anwar standing there in the background of your screen. Looking to hit the deck hard and kick that single out to backward point. What we saw often find success when Dallas Mustangs were batting, it was just the fact that Andres Kraus and Sudit Gowda put together a partnership. Wasn't always fluent boundary scoring, but singles pretty consistently. That's going to be the key for the two men in the middle. Just don't do what the Atlanta Lightning did, fall into the traps of dot balls, letting that lead to pressure, letting that lead to wickets. But instead, make sure to just find runs whenever you can.
And again, strikers under pressure here today. They lost yesterday. A loss here would knock them out of contention to go to Grand Prairie on Sunday for the final. So it's imperative for them to not get bogged down here facing the new ball against Ihsan Adil.
And they're going to want a good start out of that man, Lehito Malanta. If he can get going, he takes so much pressure off the rest of the batting lineup, and especially off of Rahul Jadiwala. If Malanta's at usual full flow, it just becomes so effortless and it's so pleasing to the eye. But Ihsan Adil, known as one of the better pacers around the country. It's the reason he's in Major League and I was carried around by MI New York, because he can do this up top. Down the track, finds the gap, will find 4. So often you'll see Malanta skip down the ground in search of runs, finds 4 of them.
Yeah, just trying to disrupt the length, the rhythm of Ihsan Adil. Shuffles forward, and there's a big gap on the leg side between mid-on and mid-wicket. He finds it with ease.
And this is something Malanta does. It's almost trademarked. When he just maybe gets bogged down a little bit more than he'd like, he will come down the track. So just something to be mindful of if you are the Dallas Mustangs. This time cut through the offside, gets it in the gap, and it'll race away towards the boundary, and it'll pick up 4 more. Back-to-back boundaries for Malanta.
Well, he's wearing a Morrisville Raptors helmet, and maybe he's trying to conjure up some of that magic he had with Morrisville last year. All those runs he scored, not as many this year, but getting off to an explosive start here. First through mid-wicket, now through cover. Back-to-back boundaries.
This is what you need. You need to take on that strike bowler, and this is, again, what Malanta can do. You can take your number 1 bowler and put him under pressure, and that can just start to leak to the rest of the Mustang side. If Ihsan Adil's getting hit, who am I to not get? Look to pull it, but it's got on to Malanta. Gets up quickly, says he's all right.
That did not look comfortable. Right in the rib cage. But it looks like he's got that padding. I see kind of a ripple in the jersey and the hips, or above the hips around the rib cage. But that one, that was above the rib cage. That was kind of in the armpit. It's not often you get hit there.
Well, so often does Malantha just shake things off, does it? Took a blow on the upper leg in the first over, this time on the arm. Still back up to face, has a delivery left in this over. You know he's always looking to score. But would love his first. Down the ground, will just find mid-wicket. That'll close out the third over, 18 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Continuing his Rumen Raiz, and again, he's so good yesterday. And that angle from the left into the right-handed Jadiwala, who's a very handsy cricketer. Just looking to bring it back and crash it onto stumps. This one will get flourished through the leg side, racing towards the rope, but well done out in the deep. Keeps it to just a couple of runs.
Saw this a couple times yesterday. We've seen good fielding here. The helmets. You got Lahir Malanta wearing a Raptors helmet. Rahul Jarwal is wearing a USA helmet. I saw Saurav Netravalkar wearing a Washington Freedom helmet. And I wonder, is it superstition? Is there a lucky helmet that you wear, even though you've got a couple different helmets in your kit bag, you say, I had a really good innings with this one. This is my lucky helmet. What goes into that, I wonder?
Talk about good innings. Did Saurav Netravalkar get the bat in Major League Cricket? Maybe he's just still living the dream that was Major League Cricket. And we'll be back at the main venue where that was played, Grand Prairie Stadium, for championship Sunday. They'll feature the top team from the Atlantic Super 4, the top team from the Pacific Super 4, and both with hopes to be crowned the 2023 champion of minor league. The Strikers, they've done it once in 2021. They'd like to go and do it again, but the Mustangs, they're everyone's preseason pick to win the whole thing.
Well, I thought they were going to win the title last year, and then they got tripped up before they got to Morrisville. And now with a second chance this time around, and I thought they were odds-on favorites to make it to Morrisville and take everything, and instead it was the Thunderbolts who claimed the title last year.
This one's pulled into leg side. You mentioned it. It was just a late surge from the Thunderbolts. Got in by the barest of margins, as they say, because of Harmeet Singh able to come in and chase a total down, and I believe it was 7 overs to get there. That run rate just enough to get them into that quarterfinal area.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary chase they had last year. Harmeet Singh proving really why he was the #1 overall pick in the Major League Cricket draft. It was that performance that went an awful long way to establishing him as not just somebody with the ball, but a devastating striker at times. He didn't really
You figured he was looking to cut the swing, but Rice responds to that very well, pulling the length back. Fine delivery here in the fourth over. Just the 3 runs from this wonderful second over from Roman Rice. And run down to third man. It'll be a single to close out the fourth over. 22 without loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, it looks like Asan Adil is going to be given a third over, maybe. Yeah, they're going to give it to him. Hamad Azam, the captain, would have seen him last season. Of course, those two teammates as a member of the Golden State Grizzlies. Then again with MI New York. And Adil, he's got 3 up front. And Malanta goes straight down the ground. It'll be 4 runs. He's had enough of Ihsan Adil and just swings his hands through the line.
Hold that pose. Raise it for the camera. Gorgeous drive, straight back over his head, down the ground. We'll hear him on the 3 boundaries now.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, they've all come off of Ihsan Adil. 2 in the previous. This one has gone straight. We'll see how Adil looks to respond. Cut, gets it through. I think got a hand on it, backward point. Does well enough. I think Nash Kenjige stationed there.
And the king of the desert saves at least 2 runs. Number 64 in Mustangs blue, number 1 in the hearts of MI New York fans and Mustangs fans and USA fans. He's a people pleaser, Nash Kenjige.
He's a people pleaser, and for good reason. Not just for what he does with the cricket bat and ball, but just off the field too. A delight to be around, and can you just you get the entire package of Nash on the field. Such a good bowler, such a good fielder, and then he's elevated the batting as well. So we'll get to see that in use, and the Mustangs will say thank you very much.
And also one of the best smiles in U.S. cricket. He's always got a smile on his face. The teeth, he's seen some great dentists throughout his life, I must say. Far better than my teeth, I know that much. I need to get a refund from my orthodontist and my dentist. Not Kenjige, though. He's got some beautiful pearly whites.
Looking for the big pull, Rahul Jadiwala, and he's given. He's just edged it through to Andres Kraus, who makes no mistake behind the stumps. And after maybe 1 boundary down the ground, ends up being all she wrote for Jadiwala.
Well, this is far from Ihsan Adil's best delivery today. Really could have gone to the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Sat up there to be hit. And Jarwala went for it and just gets an under edge through the house. So another promising start for Jalwala that he's unable to convert.
And replacing Rahul Jariwala will be a man who has made so many runs in minor league cricket. This is the reason he was taken in Major League Cricket. It's going to be Shehan Jayasuriya who comes in with bat in hand. So we get two lefties on in the middle.
Yeah, one of the more impressive players, at least on the batting side, who was in the domestic category, Shehan Jayasuriya in Major League Cricket. There's a lot of guys who showed some promise but didn't quite carry through with it. But Jayasuriya was a consistent performer in Major League Cricket this year with the bat. And now with a chance to lead the fight back for the Strikers. Try and get them back into the final in Grand Prairie. Been a prolific scorer throughout the history of minor league cricket, and they're going to need those runs here today if they're going to keep their hopes alive of reaching the grand final on Sunday.
Yeah, you mentioned Jayasuriya needing runs and the Strikers needing them. Well, they got their two highest run scorers on the season out in the middle. Shehan number 2 right behind his buddy Lahiru Malanta, 226 runs, striking it at 109, but has a 50 on the season. Haven't seen those explosive scores out west this year, and Shehan Jayasuriya, we know what kind of touch he can be in. Has all the shots in the book, and then those that have come after the book was published. If he's able to stick in for a long period of time, only a matter of time before one of those comes out. But Ihsan Adil right now is just firing on all cylinders. A good ball to close out the 5th over, 27 for 1.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Last over of the power play coming up, and one that would favor the Dallas Mustangs. They haven't given anything up. Just 27 runs. They've taken the wicket of Rahul Jariwala as Rushil Udgrekar, who took a fifer with the ball yesterday, he'll be into bowl today.
Yeah, coming into the playoffs, he had 7 wickets at an average of 25 and a 9.46 economy. He was quite expensive, but 5-wicket haul yesterday just changes those stats quite a bit. Somebody who's come up through the West Coast. He was originally based out in the San Francisco area, and now playing for the Mustangs.
Looking to go full and wide and gets it there. We heard Brian Walters talk about Ruscio yesterday and say he does have a tendency to bowl the short ball, and was able to pick up a wicket with it yesterday, but Malanta's so good on the back foot. Don't want to give anything for him to pounce on. Short, pulled away. As easy as you like for Lahiru Malanta. Picks up 6 runs.
wind has been blowing out that way for most of the day. It's died down a little bit, so he's not getting as much wind assistance as we saw in the morning game. And this just shows how impressive this shot was. Even without the wind assistance there, he still times it well enough to get it up and over mid-on and over the rope. He's looking awfully good right now, 22 off of 17.
Again, the length is going to be so key for Ugrica here. Has to be fuller on length, has to get Malanta driving. Those are just far too easy. That's where he likes it. You hear so often people talk about the greatest pullers or greatest players on the back foot often have the bat above their head in their back lift, and Malanta plays with the high bat. So he's just ready to come down and help that ball if it was able to get up to the ribs and the waist of his. This time through the offside, but fielder pitched up, and that's the result. Malanta knew it straight away. Sliced it straight to mid-off, and Ugrica, after being hit for 6, responds well.
As soon as it came off the bat, he basically turned his head around and started to walk off. Look at this. He's already turned around, and the ball hasn't even started to reach its downward arc on the parabola to reach the fielder at mid-off. And already Malanta has decided to walk off. He's disgusted with himself after that shot. Such a good start, and he's wasted it, and he's furious with himself. 33 for 2.
Yeah, it's been a season of starts for Malanta, but nothing to really show for it. And that was all she wrote. And hit that 1-6. Ugrica fixes the length, pitches it up. And all Malanta could do was pick out Roman Raiz. As we're going to see Akash Sundarsan. Akash Sundarsan will come in with bat in hand for the Silicon Valley Strikers, and looking to steady the ship that has seen Jariwala and Malanta gone.
Well, he opened the bat yesterday, didn't make it out of the first over. So, changing the batting order. They've shuffled Jariwala up from 4 to 1. They've bumped Sundaresan down from 1 to 4. See if it might bring about a change in fortunes for the Strikers.
Well bowled, good start from Rushil to Akash. Full and straight. And bowls with a great deal of pace, even at just a young age. So can trouble a batter, can rush him. He's just got to find the consistency with his length. That's been the one down point of his season, but such a young talent. Well bowled there, no runs on offer. And par for that one ball, that was just a touch too short. Everything's been good. On a good length or fuller. It's very Ugrica going to want to operate. And the less you see of Shehan Jaisaria, the more you see him off strike, the better. This one pushed, but no runs on offer. It'll close out the power play, 33 for 2.
Hamad Azam comes on now. Former minor league cricket MVP in 2021. And concedes a single to Jaya Surya. First ball. Peter Della Penna here alongside Aman Patel on day 2 of these playoffs, round robin stage playoffs in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. We've got a Western Conference match here going on at the moment between the Mustangs and the Silicon Valley Strikers. Back of the length, hard to get away. I keep saying Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Gotta get it right. Atlantic and Pacific. This is America. We do the oceans in America. Bi-coastal.
With the Eastern Division and the Western Division, we got the conferences named after those oceans, as you mentioned, and making his way from the West to the Central was Hamad Azam, coming over from the Golden State Grizzlies to be a part of this Dallas Mustangs side. And what a side it is. Again, the favorites to win Minor League 2023.
Going over the top. It's going to backspin and going back for it. And just out of reach. The cover fielder. And so close. Ninad Nimbalkar. Yet so far, Aman.
He did well, actually. Got his head around and was always had to run backwards. Never easy. Looking straight up into the sky and very nearly got his hands over there. But again, early good signs for Hamad Azam.
Field alignment at the moment. Now for Jaya Surya, the left-hander on strike. Deep backward square leg, deep mid-wicket. Long on, who is fielding very wide. And then a deep third and a cover sweeper. Those are the boundary riders as they tap and run, taking on fielder at extra cover for a single.
Yeah, and I think this is what we're going to see from Shehan, at least early on. Someone who is free-flowing, can get his innings going very, very quickly. Understanding that both the openers back in the dugout want to keep his end of the wicket safe and just keep the runs flowing. Would have seen what the Dallas Mustangs did yesterday after losing Noman Anwar. He's going to want to replicate something similar. Find a partnership to take you into that 15th, 16th over.
Now with Sundaresan on strike, deep square leg, long on, deep fine leg. Covers sweeper and deep third in place as they come back for a very sharp 2. This is good running between these two.
Yeah, again, it's what's needed, and I think what you see from Sundarsan is what needs to be the case. He was always coming back for 2. The intent was there. And for Shehan Jayasuriya, felt comfortable once he knew that his partner at the other end of the crease was going to come back. And running between the wickets often boils down to just that intent. Are you ready to take that second run? Both members, both parties ready on that occasion.
And back of the length bowling, that's what the field is set for. And back of the length, Hamad Azam delivers. Unable to find a gap in the offside is Sundaresan. So it's a 5-run over, 38 for 2 after 7.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Greykart continues. Start the 8th over here against Jayasuriya. Silicon Valley Strikers struggled yesterday. They're off to a modest start here. Need to pick up the pace if they're going to post a competitive total, especially against a lineup with the firepower that the Mustangs have. Is this time he goes up and over, using the pace on the ball to just ride it out to deep third for one.
Yeah, the runs are going to be the key here for the Silicon Valley Strikers, and how quickly they can get those runs. Now, I don't think you're going to see Shehan Jayasuriya start to reverse scoop anything early. It's going to be about him sticking in and making himself useful for those back 10 overs. And I think until that 10th over point, I think you're going to see him play more of a single-double game before he starts to tee off. But I think Greykart could be the bowler for Shehan to target good pace on the ball. And for someone who likes to use the pace and scoop it, play behind him, this could be the bowler to go after.
This time on the pads and flicked out to the same fielder. Who's that deep final leg for the right-hander?
Yeah, and you got to like what you're seeing from Sudarshan early. Not trying to overhit the ball, not looking to score boundaries, but rather push it into the vacant areas. Push it in for one. Pick a pocket, run it for two. They're able to find runs consistently because it's not just Shehan who is looking for one, but Sundarshan not only looking, but executing and finding those singles.
Back of the lane this time, Jayasuriya unable to get it away. Good fielding off his own bowling by Greykart.
And even right there, when you talk about the Silicon Valley Strikers, a little bit of confusion for Shehan, whether he wanted to go or no. And Sundarshan said, no, we're not going after it because Rushil, great effort from him. But this is, again, the communication, the awareness of the situation from these two. Understanding that, yes, the run is going to matter, but you got to hold on to these wickets.
Tries to go big and instead just muscles this straight to mid-off. No boundaries since the 6th over when that 6 came by Malantha right before he got out.
Yeah, and for the Dallas Mustangs, you wondered, in the absence of Corey Anderson, yes, you lose stuff with the bat and the ball, but you lose your captain. How do the plans change? But these team, with all of their resources, have just not lost sight of the mission.
And we're thinking about 2 there because there was nobody fielding in the ring in front of square. Greykart finally recognizes that he had to chase after it, and he denies the second run. 3 runs in the over, 41 for 2 after 8.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Wind just starting to pick up again here at Prairie View as Hamad Azam begins his second over, beating the outside edge.
And what I've liked from Hamad Azam yesterday, didn't look as good with the ball in hand, but what he does so well is find a length and hit it consistently. And now that he's hitting that consistent length, you can just see that it's just tough for batters to score.
Going for the scoop. And that's the end that it's been successful all day long with the wind blowing that way. Good recognition by Jayasuriya, not just of the wind conditions, but knowing that final leg is up in the ring. That's the end. If you're going to play that shot, that's where the lowest risk is. If you try it from the opposite end, it gets hung up in the wind and it just is there for that final leg fielder, the wicketkeeper, to catch. Great work here by Jayasuriya.
Yeah, the consistency going against Hamad Azam this time. We just spoke of it. His consistency on a length outside the off stump. So Shea knew as soon as he moved out, all he had to do was connect it. And you mentioned the wind gusting in that direction. Also got a pretty good chunk of it. The fine leg inside the ring was always destined for the rope.
And after playing that shot, they're going to challenge him to play it again. Fine leg staying in the ring. We saw that when that shot was played earlier today in the first match. As soon as it was played, they pushed the fine leg fielder back to the rope. They're keeping him in the ring. I'm going to say, I dare you to do it one more time. And he plays orthodox with the drive down the ground for one.
Again, good runs in the over so far, 5. And again, I think that you're going to see a very tempered approach from Jayasuriya and Sunderson. Really up until the 10th, probably the 12th to 15th, to keep themselves in the middle and build this partnership.
Back of length, good ball, but an even better shot from Sunderson. Goes for 4 to bring up the team 50.
Well, it's really come out of nowhere there for Akash Sudarshan. Just take another look at this. I mean, really well played to pick up the second boundary of the over. Hamad Azam, again, on a length, but a little bit of width on offer, and just carved. Really just timing, it was placement. And this young man making a name for himself early on.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the worst ball in the world. Not much width on offer, but that was impressive. Sundarsan. And again, not for the first time today, we've got a delay because it's an awful lot of space down those hills where the ball can get lost. So a replacement ball has been flicked onto the field to the third umpire, out to the umpires out in the middle via Ali Sheikh, who's fielding it long on. And this time he hits it towards Ali Sheikh, who's charging in from the rope. And a fantastic catch by number 15 in Mustangs blue.
Was just getting going, Akash Sundarsan. And this just a chip into the wind. And we saw a running take in earlier by Yasser Muhammad. This time Ali Sheikh made all of his ground, down on his hips, made it look easy, and just casually tosses it back to the umpire as Hamad Azam strikes after being hit for a 4. Again, just a second look. It's just a little flick of the wrist. I don't know if he meant to get it aerial, but didn't get all of it. And nice and easy, Ali Sheikh made it look as he was charging in. Doesn't drop many, didn't drop any there. Some of the safest pair of hands in the country.
It's not just the hands, so his overall technique, the way he gets his body low to the ground, his sliding technique allows his head to stay still. Because again, when you're charging in as fast as he is, your head is bobbing up and down, sideways, all over the place. It's hard to maintain body control at that speed, and especially head control. So when he goes to slide, it just steadies the head, makes everything balanced in the upper body, easy to see, and makes the catch so much easier. There's so much that goes into that effort, and Ali Sheikh is just phenomenal with what he does. And it's efforts like that that make people wonder, why did he not get a game for the LA Knight Riders? It's a burning question. Literally the only player not to take the field for the Knight Riders. And people were desperate to see him. He was taken in the 6th round of the Major League Draft. There's always next year.
There'll be plenty of years for Ali Sheikh, still a young man. And this is a man who's highly touted, highly talented as Ravindra.
This time, just defended watchfully. As it brings about the end of the over. So 9 runs and a wicket, 50 for 3 after 9. Tenth over about to begin, and it means the start of a spell from Nastosh Kenjige. Sweep across the line, first ball, big appeal, and Colin Edwards says, no, it was just outside leg stump. Have a look at the replay.
Yeah, you can see Nash asking the question. He's like, was it missing off? And then he saw his right hand flare out, meaning I think it probably pitched outside a leg stump. But that's prompted a change in the field. Backwards square now in place for Jayasuriya, who's such an avid sweeper of the ball.
Goes for it again, connects sweetly. High and deep over mid-wicket for 6.
We just know that's vintage Shehan Jayasuriya. It was just in the slot there from Nastosh Kenjige. Never easy to put him away. But you just take a second look at this. It's flighted, given some width. And again, he loves playing spin. He's so good against it. And hits one of the biggest sixes of the day.
It's one of the few times you don't see Nastosh Kenjige with a smile on his face. That'll wipe the smile off pretty quickly when you get hit like that. But he's such a cagey bowler. The comeback ball is never far away from Kenjige to tie a batter back down, as that comeback ball is going to be a replacement ball. Yet again, we've got a lost ball in the thick Texas brush out here at Prairie View, where one day in the not too distant future there will be a cricket ground where that ball went. They've got an awful lot of acreage that's undeveloped that they own, that they intend to build more and more cricket grounds here. And so could be a few years and it'll happen before too long. Kenjige now with the replacement ball in hand, staying around the wicket. Jayasuriya goes for another huge heave and scuffs it this time to short fine leg for a dot ball. Ravindra Pal Singh wanted a single from the non-striker's end, but Jayasuriya was caught off guard, searching for the ball and unprepared to go. Kenjige now going to switch the angle after 3 big heaves. He's coming over the wicket now. Jayasuriya was thinking about it again and decided, ooh, I think I'll just let this one go for a wide.
Not happy. Andres Kraus behind the stumps. But Colin Edwards deeming it a wide.
Another big heave is skied. This time he induces the top edge, charging it from deep mid-wicket and taking a superb catch again. Ali Sheikh. What can't he do, Aman Patel?
Well, it's the man who can't do anything that's affecting this play. Nastosh Kenjige is that type of a player. And now with the ball in hand and Ali Sheikh storming in, and you could just hear and feel what that wicket meant. It was wide, trying to take it into the leg side again. Ali Sheikh storms in a long way, made it look really easy in the end. What you don't see on this replay is Andres Kraus behind the stumps in full celebration. Narsos Kenji in full celebration. Manek cover in full celebration. They know how big this wicket is. This is the man that threatens and scares many bowlers, and that is the end of Shehan Jayasuriya thanks to the combination of the two left-arm spinners.
Well, we talked about it. The comeback ball is never far away from Kenjige. It's not often that you're going to continuously win battle after battle with him. He was hit for 6. And he said, I dare you to do it again, Shehan Jayasuriya. And Shehan Jayasuriya kept on going for it. Kenjige wins the war. Phenomenal bowling from Nastush Kenjige. And it's now 57 for 4 with 2 legal deliveries left. And this over is Pranay Suri. Comes out to bat. He was involved in a pair of runouts yesterday. So you wonder if that'll be playing on his mind now, as that wicket means 2 right-handers are in the middle now.
Not only 2 right-handers, Peter, but 2 fresh right-handers. Neither of these two have been in the middle for very long. Of course, Pranay Suri just making his way there, and Singh just the one delivery he's faced. And Narsos Kenjige, not the easiest batter to play.
Very watchful from Pranay Suri to start off.
And this is what the strikers would not have wanted. They were looking for a partnership from somebody, and 2 guys who were set in and out.
And again, a forward defense. So damage early in the over with a 6 by Jayasuriya, but then just 1 run comes off the final 4 legal deliveries, a wide, and the wicket. 7 runs in the over, 57 for 4 after 10. Ravinder Pal Singh gets off the mark now with a single to start the 11th over, facing Hamad Azam. And we were talking about helmets before. Yesterday, Ravinder Pal Singh wearing a Morrisville Unity helmet. Today he's out there with a Canada helmet on. Maybe he thought yesterday, again, bad luck. Bad luck with the Morrisville Unity. It got out cheaply. He's trying to switch it up today.
Well, the strikers will need him to switch it up nonetheless, because they've just seen Lahiru Malanta, they've seen Shehan Jayasuriya, Rahul Jariwala, and Akash Sundarson all head to the dugout after getting some starts.
This one kept out by Suri. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, is he not wearing the Morrisville helmet from yesterday because it's sweaty, because he was batting in it for too long? No, he wasn't batting in it long enough for it to get sweaty.
Well, this Texas sun is no joke, Peter. Or maybe, a couple minutes out there is all it needs to get nice and moist.
It's true. It's possible. Optimistic. Possible. Edge eludes Andres Kraus, and it eludes the deep third fielder as well. It goes to the rope. Streaky boundary to Pranay Suri to get off the mark.
The man who's played USA under 15, USA under 19 here with the strikers, and produces this outside edge. Unlucky for Hamad Azam, and just away from that outstretched glove of Andres Kraus. Just take a second look at this. Again, a genuine edge, and not much that even someone of Gauss's talent can do.
This time just wide of mid-wicket in the ring. Came off the bat, thought it might be a catch. And instead, it just goes wide. There's a fielder inside the ring for one to long on.
Yeah, you saw the two men in the middle think about that second run. But once they realize it's Ali Sheikh who's throwing it in, not going to want to test that man's arm.
It was Adnan Haroun who was there at mid-wicket, who was so close. If he'd just been about 3 yards to the left, it would have been straight in his lap. And feeling for this one, Ravinder Pal Singh can't get bat on ball.
And Ahmad Azam has gone through his 3 overs here. Just 1 ball left. He's given up 20 runs. He's taken a wicket. And again, in the absence of Corey Anderson, he's been asked to step up. And he's done so quite well. Yesterday, I wouldn't have been too happy with his bowling performance. Wasn't hit for too many runs, but wasn't the consistent Ahmad Azam that was the 2021 MVP.
And nearly a leading edge. Back to the board. Doesn't carry. 6 runs in the over. 63 for 4 after 11. Kenjige skies another one. He's running back for it and can't hold on. That would have been an extraordinary effort and also good to avoid a collision. Rishi Ramesh is on as a subfielder. And Ramesh was charging in from long on. He thought for a moment there might be a collision. Ramesh probably would have been an easier catch for him, but Kenjige was determined to go for it.
Yeah, had to make a lot of ground, either fielder. But Nashi's so good, just like Ali Sheikh. He's just always so consistent with the hands. He wanted it. But I think calling off Ramesh the wrong move there.
And this time Singh with fine leg open. Clever. Coming across his thumbs to just access that gap for 4.
Yeah, just straying down. And with fine leg inside the ring. Excuse me, fine leg not even in the frame. But just far too easy. Nash is going to want that delivery back. Any batter worth his salt was going to clip that one off the pads for 4.
Keeping the field the same, even after that boundary. Fires it in short. It sticks in the wicket a bit. Holds up. Ravinder Pal Singh adjusts to just block it back. Fielding alignment right now. Deep square leg, deep mid-wicket. Long on, long off. And a cover sweeper in place on the boundary. Short third, backward point, extra covered mid-wicket in the ring, the 4 ring fielders. As Singh just pushes this back with hard hands to Kenjige, who's always a chance of a return catch. Whether it's skied over his head like we saw moments ago, or the athletic ones he takes on balls like that where you get a batter with hard hands who just pushes a little bit too early, and Kenjige takes an awful lot of return catches in his follow-through. And slight change in the field produced a different shot, different delivery. He was just trying to tuck that in front of a square. Now that mid-wicket moved to fine leg, but just mishit it off the pads, drawing a cry from Kenjige. Darts this in quick again, and that time, Ravinder Pal Singh clips it where he meant to in that gap in front of a square on the leg side. For a single to end the over, 6 runs from it, 69 for 4 after 12. We've already seen him take 2 phenomenal catches. And now we're going to see what he can do with the ball. It's Ali Sheikh coming into the attack. 8 wickets in the campaign coming into this playoff stage for the Mustangs. Very different style of left arm spin compared to Kenjige. And good fielding here to keep this to just a single off his first delivery. But no, spoke too soon. Overthrow is going to lead to his second run. And Ali Sheikh is not exactly thrilled with that.
Yeah, that throw firing in, coming off the pads of Andres Kraus, and no one sitting at mid-wicket. Good job by the strikers, though, seeing that, being alert. We're not finding boundaries. Got to make sure that you don't leave any runs on the board.
Yeah, Ali Sheikh is somebody who doesn't really turn the ball that much, relies much more on mixing up his pace to keep batters off balance and lead to wickets. He's got a deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and a point sweeper in place on the boundary. Inside the ring, he's got a short fine leg, short third, backward point, extra cover. There's a gap in front of square at mid-wicket in the ring if they want to try and tap and run for 2. As Andres House comes to have a brief chat with Ali Sheikh.
Yeah, Ali Sheikh, your typical T20 spinner, and the modern sense of quick through the air.
The pride of Plano, lives in North Dallas, in the suburb of Plano. This one sliced towards backward point, running back, and unable to get there. So it'll be a single, very streaky single, but I don't think Ali Sheikh will mind seeing that approach from Pranay Suri coming down the track to try and attack him.
After that conversation with Andres Kraus, you've seen Ali Sheikh pull the length back, just like you did there. And again, I think it's all part of the ploy from Kraus, seeing that the wicket is, there's maybe something in the surface, and daring the batters to play from there.
Going back again, just see this one off. 4 runs in the over, 73 for 4 after 13.
Welcome back to Prairie View Cricket Complex here in this Pacific Conference Super 4. I'm Om Patel. I'm joined by Peter Della Penna. And we're going to continue to see Nash Kenjige in with the left arm spin. Same field as the end of the previous over. Down the ground, straight back. Should just be 1. It will be. And Zushi Ramesh stationed out there. Nash, after getting the big wicket of Shehan Jayasuriya, it's been very economical since. Just the 1 boundary. And there's been a lot of this, quick through the air, getting the batters to prod in front of them, and not giving them really much time to adjust. Down the track, outside edge, nearly a one-hander. Was backpedaling, but unable to come down with it, in and out of that left hand.
Yeah, Adnan Haroon, just slightly slow to react, off balance, reaching up. If he took a good first step, he would have been able to go two-handed for it. He just was a second late.
This time finds fine leg inside the ring, and how big a moment would that have been? It just was almost a frustration shot from Ravindra Paul Singh. Just looked to advance, was nowhere near the ball. Just kind of threw his hands at it. And that's the kind of pressure that Nosh and Ali can provide. Cut aerial away from the fielder at covers. Work to be done. And won't be able to do it. It'll be 4 runs there, a much needed boundary to ease the pressure that was brewing. Well done for Pranay Suri.
Yeah, just good work. Backing away to create room. That wasn't a bad ball. It was on off stump. He just decided, slightly premeditated, he was going to back away from leg stump to try and go with the turn, and played it beautifully to pick the gap on the offside boundary.
Yeah, some turn on offer for Nosh. Not something we saw yesterday, but we've seen it through the majority of today. This time into the leg side, fielder in place, but it won't matter. Back to back, this time bigger and better. 6 for Pranay Suri.
Pranay Suri is somebody whose batting feel has always been undervalued. He's always had the technical skills, and as he's progressed in his senior team career, you're seeing more and more opportunities for him to showcase what he's capable of with the bat. 85 for 4 after 14.
Six overs left as Ali Sheikh gets his second over. And Ravinder Paul Singh crushes one to long off. Pranay Suri, Peter, has gotten himself going. Back-to-back boundaries to close that over. I feel like he's got to be a key contributor through the back half of this innings. Adjusts well. Spotted the movement early. Ali Sheikh kept it out of the arc. Results in 1.
He's a senior figure in this team now. He's been around this setup for a few years. He's a senior figure in Northern California cricket in general. He's got to show that leadership here.
Getting that single. This is good. This is what's been missing. Finding those singles in regulation, and that's going to help that projected score go up and up. It's 121 currently. That's not going to cut it. Now with this batting attack that will feature House and Anwar, Gowda, Hamad Azam, Ali Sheikh. So many bats in this dugout. Have to score. Adjust to the movement again, Ali Sheikh. This is what he's so good at. Not only varying the pace, but able to adjust the line and length depending on the movement of the batter. Dabbed through through third man. Fetch himself 1.
You see so many different styles of left arm spin in this country. Kenjige, much more of a flight bowler. Sanjay Krishnamurti, he's got such an incredibly technical action with that front arm and that hip turn and follow through. Ali Sheikh just kind of shuffles in and slings it like a dart. All these guys are effective in different ways.
Looking for it, looking for it. Says no, says no. Ali Sheikh was convinced. It looks like Andres House convinced as well. Pranay Suri looking for that big sweep. Doesn't get it. And take a look at this, Peter.
Shane Samuels maybe giving a Christmas gift 3 months early to Pranay Suri. Diwali gift? What does he celebrate? Maybe Diwali gift 2 months early for Diwali?
Well, it's close. Maybe a holy gift in that regard. 15 overs gone, 90 for 4. correction on that holy gift, Navratri gift. That would be the one thing maybe Pranay Suri would be celebrating this time of year. Peter, you ever been to Garba?
I have not. I've been in Nepal for Holi.
Okay.
That was quite fun. Going through the streets, getting all sorts of ink pellets slinged at me.
I think we got to get you out of Garba. I'd love to see Peter Della Penna in the circle, dancing around for a couple hours at a time. I think that would be entertaining.
The Garba sticks, do they have a specific name, the Garba sticks?
They're called Dandiya.
Dandiya, yeah. You know, my rhythm is awful. The Dandiya is just going to throw me off. I'm just going to be horrendous with the Dandiya.
Well, right now, the Silicon Valley Strikers proving that they're not horrendous with the bat. As Ravinder Pal Singh comes out with 4 runs as Rushil Ugarkut comes back with ball in hand.
Just gets the line slightly wrong. Easy to flick through fine leg, and Kenjige was very square on the boundary. Had an awfully long way to run to try and track that down. Samir Bendikar, the third umpire, he's laughing. Is he laughing at me, hearing me talk about my terrible dancing skills?
I think he's laughing at the both of us because we're talking about Navratri here at a cricket match, and I think he's more than ready to get out there, and I'm sure he's been doing some Garba over these couple of weeks.
I have a hard enough time as it is. My wife's Punjabi, and just her trying to teach me to do the unscrew the light bulbs Punjabi dance. You know, it's hard enough. I've had a difficult time just doing the basics of that, so the Dandiya sticks might be a bridge too far for me.
Well, what's not going to be a bridge too far for Rushil is this right here. Pace on. He's so very good. If he can be on this length, he can create difficult problems for Pranay Suri and Ravinder Pal Singh. Outside edge again, over the top again, this time 4. Gets lucky there, does Pranay Suri, but he'll take all the runs he can get.
Third man up in the ring, Adnan Haroon. And this one just tails over his head out of reach, backspinning towards the rope. Streaky but effective. Pranay Suri up to 24 now.
99 runs on the board, and Silicon Valley Strikers again trying to get to that 140 mark. Well stopped by Rushil. Got a hand to it. Never easy to save it as a pace bowler running through your action, but does well. Last delivery here in the 16th. Has helped into the leg side. Has he picked the gap? Fielders are quick out there, and they'll be quick enough. Really good work out on the leg side. It's Ali Sheikh and Nash Kenjige saving 2 runs to close out the 16th over. 100 comes up, 101 for 4. Final 4 overs incoming here, Peter Della Penna. And only a 101 runs to show for the Silicon Valley Strikers. They're looking at a total of 126. That's just not going to cut it. Not on this surface.
Yeah, they just didn't get enough of a contribution from the top order. Again, a couple of starts, but nobody really carrying on. And now Suri and Ravinder Pal Singh, they've been out there for a significant amount of time now. They can't afford to keep dabbing singles here. They've got to look for something bigger.
And as Ruman Raiz comes back with ball in hand, didn't get those wickets early on that he did yesterday, but still very, very effective. Just 11 runs he's given up in his 2 overs. And now back in the death. And how big were those overs from Hamad Azam earlier? They've gone a couple of Naj, couple of Ali Sheikh, and a couple of Rashil. Just, Peter, so many options with this Mustangs team, and it's the depth goes just beyond the bat. It's with the ball. You don't see this in minor league cricket too often.
Yeah, they've got 2 overs left here from Raiz. They've got an over left from Mason Adil. Got 2 overs left from Ali Sheikh. You got an over left from Kenjige. So you're going to have a quality bowler here. More than likely one of the spinners who's not going to bowl out their full 4. That just tells you the depth the Mustangs have to call upon.
And it's not just depth for the sake of having depth. It's depth that's incredibly, incredibly good. If you're talking about Naj Kenjige or Ali Sheikh, those can be frontline spinners on most minor league sides across the country. They just happen to be playing for the same Dallas Mustangs team.
And you've also got Hamad Azam, who's got an over left. So you're going to have at least 2 bowlers, really, 2 quality bowlers who are not going to bowl a full 4 today. It just further highlights all the different options they have to call upon.
Slower again, unable to get bat on it again. This is such a tidy over. Just 1 run from the first 4 deliveries. And Pranay Suri just not able to get much going. Short, pulled. That's the release shot they needed. That was the ball they were waiting for. And a massive, massive 6. He's just some of that pressure that was brewing on this Raiz over.
Oh, he'd been so good bowling those slower ball Yorkers, those wide Yorkers. He tries to mix it up back of the length, and Pranay Suri not fooled one bit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Aman. He was doing so good with those wide Yorkers. And Pranay Suri couldn't lay bat on ball. He was getting fooled every time. Makes you wonder, why mess up a good thing?
I think he was just trying not to get predictable, but in doing so, gave Pranay Suri exactly what he was looking for. How to imagine he's going back. That slower Yorker. It's an on-speed Yorker that'll lead to a dot ball to close out the 17th. Want to wait for 4.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Last 3 overs, and as you mentioned, Peter, we're going to see somebody left with overs in hand. It's going to be at least one of the 2 spinners. Looks like Ihsan Adil will get the ball in hand, having a word with the captain, Hamad Azam. And maybe not. Maybe they're changing who they're giving it to. Looks like Rushil Ugarkar might just have gotten the nod, making his way from deep backward square leg.
How many Dallas Mustangs players does it take to change a light bulb? Aman, what's going on here?
Everyone around the ball, around the umpire, has been a touch slow through their over so far, the Mustangs. That's the one thing they're going to rectify. But something that's got to give them so much excitement is just the development of Rushil. Again, this is a team that's flooded with pace bowlers, Hamad Azam, Ihsan Adil, and Corey Anderson when you think about your main three. No Corey Anderson means there's more room for Rushil, and don't forget about Ruman Rais. So you have 3 or 4 already, but this is how good this young man's been throughout the year. He's able to carve out a role for himself on a team that has 3 to 4 quality pacers, 2 quality spinners. And then you can also talk about Adnan Haroon, the leggy. Hasn't even been given an over today. Too easy. Far too easy. Again, we've talked about the one thing that's plagued Rushil is the length. That one's short, asked to be hit, and Ravinder Paul Singh obliged.
Yeah, the length was bad and the line was bad too. Just on the hips. Not even a full flourish from Ravinder Paul Singh. Just got inside the line of that to just flick it with his wrists. And there's nobody fielding behind square leg. So once he got bad on it, it was an automatic 4.
And oftentimes you'll see Rushil start us over that way and then come back. So let's see if he can get back to that right line. Pitch it up just a touch further. Yeah, better. Better be helped down the ground for 1. Because now the scoring becomes so important. The wickets don't truly matter if you're the Dallas Mustangs right now. Just keep the boundaries at bay. Make sure they're not getting those easy 6s and 4s. Don't make them do it on good balls. Don't let them do it on the ones they're asking to be hit. Looking to go down the ground. And all it was the wicket. All he could do was just chip it. Just the faintest of edges out to Andres Kelsen. Rushil knew it straight away. And there you go. When it's on the right line, it's a good delivery. Takes a wicket.
He's going for everything at this stage, Pranay Suri. With only 2+ overs to go. And he didn't have to look at the umpire. He started to walk. Those two know each other very, very well in the Bay Area. And so the respect there. Just tucking his bat and walking off Pranay Suri. Not waiting for Colin Edwards to raise the finger. 113 for 5 now. So with 15 balls left, in a utopian world, you'd say strikers would be hoping for 30 off the last 15. It's been very hard to come by today in that fashion. Now Gary Graham coming out to the middle to join Ravinder Paul Singh. If they're going to get anywhere close to that 30 mark off the final 15 deliveries, Ravinder Paul Singh is going to have to face most of the strike now that he's been there out in the middle for quite some time.
And these are the 4th and 5th leading run scorers for the Silicon Valley Strikers. And they'll have to be incredibly quick in scoring here today. Can Gary Graham get going? Can he just find runs? Claw your way to 140, as you mentioned. The utopian world, you get 30 odd. These final 15, that gets you in the 140s. But right now, Rushil Agarkar has found the line, found the length, and can make things really difficult with the pace that he possesses.
Like you said, I ran off all the guys who are going to be not bowling their full quota. I left off Rushil. The speed was perfect, throwing off Gary Graham, but the line just a fraction too wide outside off stump.
Cut through the offside. They'll pick up 1. And so now we'll have Ravinder Paul Singh to come face this final delivery. And you mentioned you didn't know if you were going to see 4 overs from Rushil, but he's defended as to why he's been given it. Pfeiffer yesterday, 2 wickets today. This is a young man beaming with talent and one to look out for. In the air, just away from backward point. Would have been an absolute stunner diving out to his left. Instead evades him and ends up being a good way to close the over for the Silicon Valley Strikers. 4 more. Just to look at that, it was just short and wide. Peter asked to be hit, dealt with.
And on Nimbolkar, he's had a few close shaves today, this time at backward point. Nimbolkar, again, slow reacting. He didn't pick it up immediately off the bat. He was just a fraction slow, and that allowed it to elude him to the boundary.
Closing out the 18th over, it's 119 for 5. Ruman Rais to bowl the 19th. Slower one pushed into the offside. Will fetch 1, Gary Graham. And Peter, to your estimation, what do you think is the score that you think could give the Strikers an opportunity to win this game?
Oh, they've got to get up to 140. Anything less than 140, I don't think they have a chance to defend. They've got to go for everything these last 2 overs.
Going to be tough to do with Roman Rais bowling this one. And then talk about possibly an Ehsan Adil to finish. Maybe a Hamad Azam. So have options to close out this innings and top quality options.
Really, I think they've got to target the 20th over because the wind is blowing in that direction. It's been blowing in that direction for most of the day, going away from Highway 290. So this, and if they can pick off 6 singles here and then target the 20th over as that big finishing over.
This one beats Gary Graham, all hands up. That Yorker length delivery that Rais is just hitting so consistently.
This is not easy, but he's making it look easy right now. Roman Rais, so experienced, drawing upon all of that here in this over. These wide Yorkers are near flawless.
Again, not one of the few players who don't play in Major League Cricket has really put his hand up on this side and has been a real big reason as to why all indications would be pointing to them headed towards the finals. Again, winning this game and the game tomorrow would clinch it for them. And to play at home in a final minor league cricket, not something that happens. Again, that wide Yorker. Again, that Yorker's so good. All you can fetch is 1, and the Mustangs won't mind it.
You don't see home teams in the final. I blame Morrisville for that. I blame the Morrisville Cards. I blame the Morrisville Raptors. They didn't hold up their end of the bargain, Aman.
Now getting to the playoffs in each of the last 2 years, unable to get past the New Jersey Stallions. This year, unable to qualify for the playoffs. Missing out because of the fact they finished in 4th. Had some rainouts, but it's not just weren't able to get it done, and both Atlanta teams were fantastic throughout the regular season in the Lightning and the Fire. This time misses the Yorker, just falls short of Nash Kenjige, but just for one to close out the 19th. 5 runs from the over, Peter. What a penultimate over. 124 for 5. Final over of this first innings coming to a head. It's Asan Adil with the ball in hand. And Peter, you said they have to at least get to 140 if they want any chance of this. Well, you're still 16 runs short of that margin, and not going to be easy to get 16 off of this man, Adil.
Well, I thought 6 singles was realistic off Reyes. They got 5. Here's their opportunity with the wind blowing in this direction.
Cut through the offside. Fielder gives chase, and he'll be able to keep it from being 4. Nifty footwork along the boundary. Well done to save 2 runs.
Naman Anwar. Superb from him. Circling around the boundary. The ball was tailing away from him the entire time as well. That was not easy to, A, cover the distance he needed to, but also just the backspin he had to deal with. Naman Anwar, superb to keep that to just 2.
Spot the length here from Adil. Expect him to be on a length. Hits straight deck down the ground, but even with the wind, not enough power. And you see Adil, he usually goes for that Yorker as they'll run one off of the overthrow, so they'll take all the runs they can get, but usually would go for the Yorker in this situation. But because I think, as you mentioned, the wind, easy to go back down the ground, daring him to play square.
Yeah, it's a clever cat and mouse game that's happening here. This final over. If you want to hit down the ground, I'm just going to drag it back. You are going to have to muscle it on the up. You're not going to get a drivable length from me.
This time goes full and straight, gets it wide, but not enough to beat the fielder. Well, or will it be? Nope. Even the fumble doesn't result in a 4, but they'll come back for 3. Throw comes in really late. Throw came in really late. That's attentive running. That's real attentive running. It suited Gouda on the boundary. He's fumbled it first, and then has just taken his sweet time to get the throw in, Peter.
Took a tea break. Or was it a brew coffee break that he had?
I don't know if he had enough brew coffee. He didn't seem awake enough or urgent enough to go throw that one in. But in the end, results in a 3rd run being added. So a good start to the over, 7 runs from it. This one away from Ravinder Paul Singh, who wants a wide, but umpire says no.
Good comeback from there from SN Adil after the fielding unit with a slight blemish. Comes back with a dot ball. Got to get at least 1 boundary off these last 2 deliveries, though. Strikers, if they're going to have a realistic chance of defending any total.
Slower ball, another wide. This one a wide. First one not deemed. This one is. And so what we thought could be a real tight over, maybe 6 to 8 runs. We've already seen 8 of them with 2 deliveries to go.
if you're looking for gaps in the field, you wonder, will he try a scoop over a fine leg? But from this end, that's been a very hard shot to pull off all day long.
Low full toss hit straight. I've got a couple of runs. I think it might have just came off of the umpire. No, it hasn't. Just a direct hit, though. Will end up being a couple of runs from Ravinder Paul Singh.
Nice, and Adil, that was a chance. That was straight back at the bowler's right hand, and he just stabbed his hand out at it. It was going to stick or it wasn't, and it just burst through his fingertips, Adil. That was a catch and a wicket if he held on to it.
Saves 2 runs, however. If that one had gone through him, as straight as you like, probably finds 4. Again, looks to go straight down the ground, but just will be 1. Mustangs good in the field, and they get the throw in this time. And even after all the theatrics of that final over, where we saw 3 runs being taken, 135 on the board, 136 is what's going to be needed. Peter, doesn't seem like enough.
No, they needed at least 16 off that over. They wind up with 11. I just feel like they're light here going into the innings break. They struggled yesterday. Silicon Valley Strikers in the first match of this Pacific Conference playoff phase. They scratched and clawed their way, ending on 118, chasing a target of 152. And they've done a little bit better today, but again, you're dealing with a team with a lot more firepower to call upon in the Mustangs lineup, and I just don't feel like this is going to be anywhere close to being enough.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out. Peter De La Pena was a good bowling performance from the Mustangs. The Strikers had some starts, but not much to speak of with the bat in hand. 136 is what the Mustangs will need when we return to this Pacific Conference Super 4. Welcome back to the Pacific Conference Super 4 that features the Dallas Mustangs taking on the Silicon Valley Strikers. Strikers only managed to put up 135 runs on the board. That's all the Mustangs will need, but they'll start off facing one of the better bowlers in all of minor league cricket, Saurabh Netravalkar. He's the only bowler in the league to have more than 14 wickets with an economy of less than 5.5. Coming into the week, 16 wickets and an economy of 5.06. He's going to need plenty more of that today. We'll start off to Noman Anwar. An edge that beats slip. Very nearly ball one and wicket one. Unlucky start for Saurabh Netravalkar. A streaky boundary to open up the runs for the Mustangs.
McCrayev catch and just slip fielder too wide. Pranay Suri just a bit too wide, allowing a gap to be split between Suri and Slip, and we'll hear Malantha behind the stumps with the gloves on.
Needed to take that one. Early inroads is going to be the key for the Strikers. With just 136 runs to defend, that early wicket of Noman Anwar to crash into that middle order, get them out early. Just what the Strikers would have needed. This time bat on it, but just pushed out to cover. Very near to that dream start. Malantha has the gloves on today. Seen him trade off and on with Rahul Jariwala, but Malantha won arguably the best gloves in the country. And Netravalkar operating with a deep fine and a deep third. And this one just pushed out to point. Good start here for Netravalkar. Even with that boundary, you can still sense there's early pressure on Noman Anwar. And still that slip in place. Just two fielders on the leg side inside the ring. Mid on and the mid wicket. Terrific bowling from Netravalkar here. Remember, had a fifer in Major League Cricket as a member of the Washington Freedom at Church Street Park. Did it against the San Francisco Unicorns and would want to repeat a performance similar here. And the first runs conventionally played off the bat for Noman Anwar. And again, very free-flowing and was an off-season acquisition. Now we're going to see a battle of two members of the Freedom. Andres Kraus, who consistently opened the batting for the Freedom Major League Cricket, and Saurabh Netravalkar, who consistently opened the bowling for the Washington Freedom in Major League Cricket, going head-to-head here in minor league.
Andres Kraus wearing the Dallas Mustangs helmet. Saw Saurabh Netravalkar wearing the Freedom helmet yesterday. Now, maybe it's because he just never got to wear it when he was actually with the Freedom. He just wanted to give it some use. Never got to bat. He did an awful lot of bowling, very little batting.
Another edge falls short of Pranay Suri. Brings up two edges in the over. What a start this is from Netravalkar. Just hasn't got the luck to go his way. And that'll close out the first over, an eventful one that shows promising signs for the Silicon Valley Strikers. It's 6 without loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Producing this right here.
I put the blame on this with Lahiro Malanta. The wicketkeeper has got to be closer to the stumps. He sets the distance behind the stumps, and that didn't carry the first slip where Pranay Suri was. And I feel it's Lahiro Malanta's responsibility to be at the right distance so that catches will carry, whether to himself or a slip. And that one short hopped Pranay Suri. And if Malanta and Suri are standing about 2 strides further forward, that one is going to carry at about ankle height.
Now Ishwarjat Soi, he'll have a ball in hand. It's a quick bowler here. And Canadian just missed out on that Canadian squad. They'll head down to Bermuda. Starts off full and straight. And we'll find runs for Andres Kraus down the ground. And for the Dallas Mustangs, again, pressure early because of Saurabh Netravalkar and what he's able to do with the ball. But in terms of what you do with the bat in hand, don't have to do too much. It's just about holding your nerve, keeping yourself in, not losing wickets early. So he originally from England. He's played on the Surrey second 11 in county cricket. You can see some pace early on. Again for Sohi here, just going to need to complement Saurabh Netravalkar. Find a way to build some pressure, put pressure on these batters without a lot of runs on the board. See what he has in store. It's got to be on the right line, right length. Still no run on offer for Noman Anwar.
Noman Anwar was one of the steals of the draft in Major League Cricket. Very productive for Seattle Orcas. Do you consider yourself part of the pod squad, Aman?
Well, I was asking for the pod squad to get loud back in Major League Cricket, and boy, did they. Pretty consistently, the pod squad. It was a fun group to be a part of, just short of the inaugural championship. And Noman Anwar was a big part of why they were in that position anyway. How about that, though, from Sohi? How much that one high on the bat of Noman Anwar. Hasn't seen this bit of pace in quite some time.
Man. Much needed at this stage of the tournament. Again, if the strikers lose here, they're out in terms of a chance to go advance to the final. They will play one more match tomorrow, but it'll only be in a possible role as a spoiler. If they lose today, they have no shot at advancing to the final in Texas, in Grand Prairie, Texas on Sunday.
Bowling like this can give them a shot. Still just the one run from the very first delivery, but Noman Anwar has taken the bulk of strike and has been dot ball central for the Dallas Mustangs. Not someone who's accustomed to being held down. Free-flowing cricketer, likes to play his shots. Plays them early, plays them often, but right now it's all about what Sohi's producing.
He's working on that ball, putting some shine on it. Get it to where he likes it before he's going to deliver it at the end of this second new ball over.
looking for the big pull shot, unable to get bat on it. Just one run from the over, a very good one from Sohi, starting his day off with the ball in hand. 2 gone, 7 without loss. Sarb Nethervalker picks up where he left off in his first over, getting through the outside edge of Andres House, the number 2 overall pick in Major League Cricket in that inaugural draft, and rightfully so, through this 2023 minor league season. Second most amount of runs coming into this playoff week, only behind his teammate and captain, Corey Anderson.
Got a change in the field to Pranay Suri. He's taken himself out of slip to go into extra cover. And Akash Sundarasan is coming to slip. And I wonder if the half chance in the previous over that split Malanta and Suri has anything to do with that. Or if he just wants to be closer to the bowler to be able to communicate with him.
These two would have seen each other for a good period of time back last season in minor league when House was a member of the championship Seattle Thunderbolts side, and then in Major League in the Nets, going back and forth every day. And right now it's Nethervalker who's winning the battle.
Yeah, former USA captain with the ball, and potentially somebody who could be playing for USA in another year. Andres House is going to qualify in the next 12 months before the World Cup next year.
Finds himself a single, quick single, direct hit. Well home though, Andres House quick through the wickets. Not gonna let anyone run him out. I think it was Shehan Jayasuriya.
Good cricket all around there. Shehan Jayasuriya, not to be confused with Kulvinder Singh. Your eyes, they might be playing tricks on you, but I can assure you that it's not Kendi Singh, that's Shehan Jayasuriya. Very, very nice guy, very kind guy, Kendi Singh, to just lend the jersey to Shehan Jayasuriya to use for today.
Well, Govinder Singh nearly ended the striker's hopes of being at this very venue. Was born in the last overs, a member of the Golden State Grizzlies in the qualifying match, the eliminator, to get to this stage, and needed to defend 7 runs, couldn't do it. And that's why the strikers are here. Bowled him. Noman Anwar has been struggling in the middle. A change of angle for Saurabh Nethervalker opens up the stumps, and the first wicket falls for the Dallas Mustangs.
It's back of the length, accurate bowling. It's not beating him for pace, just right on the money. It just zipped in, jagged in off the wicket, comes in, starting on an off-stump line, and then just cuts in to nip the top of leg stump. That's a gorgeous delivery from the former USA captain. And he had Nauman Anwar in an awful lot of trouble. ball. Could have easily been a catch, but eventually Netravalkar gets him for 5. And it's 8 for 1 now in the 3rd over.
Now, what we've seen from Sorb Netravalkar is that seam position. How far down the leg side right-hander is pointed, almost towards really the leg gully of a right-hander, and that's what creates that dart in.
He was impressive in Major League Cricket for Washington and Freedom. I think, and I don't believe I'm the only one, I think he should have won the Bart King Award this year. I'd like a recount of that vote. It was given to Cameron Gannon, the best domestic category player, and I felt just the contributions that Netravalkar made against the quality of batters he was getting out. He wasn't just getting weak batters out. The way he made Nicholas Puran look, when you consider how Nicholas Puran, the innings he played in the final, and when Saurabh Netravalkar played against him in the round-robin stage, Saurabh Netravalkar made Nicholas Puran struggle. And he wasn't the only one who was struggling against Saurabh Netravalkar. And the USA captain, he's just so consistent, no matter what uniform he's got on. Today it's the Silicon Valley Strikers. He's just always a wicket taker, always contributing.
Sujit Gowda, the new man in, gets the run straight away. Similar situation for the Mustangs as to yesterday. Noman Anwar gets a boundary, gets out, and then it was Andres Kraus and Sujit Gowda who steadied the ship, got 50s each in that win. 3 overs gone, 9 for the loss of 1.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Well, we saw Sohi create so many problems for Noman Anwar in his first over. We'll now be dealing with Sujit Gowda, who, good to see him back on the field after what looked to be an apparent hamstring injury yesterday, fielding a ball, was immediately grabbed the back of his legs and was up and walking around afterwards. But now he's going to have to deal with the express pace that Sohi seems to possess. Quick, but down the leg side, it'll be wide. But man, oh man, Peter Della Penna, that kind of pace can just change the game, you feel.
Yeah, he's definitely been sharp. And again, with the wind at his back, it looks even sharper. You see the way he caused difficulty to Noman Anwar, and now has a chance to have a crack at Sujit Gowda. This chase is not as straightforward as maybe it appeared going into the innings break.
And it's because of these tight overs. Again, 136, not a huge score on this surface. That's not playing many tricks. But this opening bowling tandem of Saurabh Netravalkar and now Sohi has just made things a little bit more interesting. This time short. Big shout given. Sujit Gowda can't quite believe it. Lahino Malanta was up quickly. Gowda doesn't like the decision, but in the end, the pace of Sohi powers through and picks up wicket number 2.
Sharp bounce. Incredible bounce. And Gowda not thrilled with the decision, but that was a handful to deal with that delivery.
Let's take a second look at that. Let's just slow it down.
Hard to tell from that angle whether or not there was enough deviation there, but Malanta was pretty convinced. Sohi was pretty convinced. Gauda not exactly thrilled. If anything, a clipped glove. Didn't get bad.
Yeah, ball passing close. Tough to tell. Any of the movement was because it came off the gloves, but Gelda straight away said no. And maybe that's just an indication of him again just saying I didn't touch any of it. But nonetheless, umpire's decision final. Bring out Nenad Nimbalkar. Nimbalkar will have to come in, and a dire spot now. 2 wickets down on the power play. A dream start for the Silicon Valley Strikers as they look to keep their hopes alive of playing in Championship Sunday. Dealt with well on his first delivery, but you can see the pace. It's troublesome. It's worrisome for these batters.
And now you're going to get a test of how much depth they have. Ali Sheikh, Ahmad Azam, Nastosh Kenjige yet to come in. How many of them will need to step up to get the Mustangs across the line, who are now looking in a bit of trouble here?
No run on offer, and once again, Andrzej Kraus has seen the over unfold at the non-striker's end. Has just played one ball of Sohi. Other than that, it's been Anwar, it's been Gauda, and now Nimbalkar.
He just played one ball of Sohi in just 5 balls period. He's had an extremely small percentage of the strike. He's got to get more of it. Just got to get a single if you're in Balkar.
No single on offer, turned down by Andrzej Kraus. And you mentioned hasn't seen much strike. It was pretty similar yesterday to when he started, wickets would fall and Gauda would see most of the strike early on. And Kraus was more than happy to facilitate one or just sit off strike for a couple overs at a time. But a little bit different now with 2 wickets down the power play. Final delivery of this 4th over. Slip's still in place, and so he could just pull the length back. Does do it. Dealt with well. No run on offer. Just the 1 run courtesy of a wide and a wicket here in the 4th. And great over for the Silicon Valley Strikers. 10 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Nethervalker with a 3rd. And why not? He's bowled so well. You know you need wickets early and often. I like the aggressive move from the strikers. Andrzej Kraus, you mentioned, Peter. That's just the 7th ball he's played. And having to deal with the forefront and the brute of this incredible opening tandem.
because he's had so little to strike, he's looking for rhythm. He's not able to get going so far. And this just continues to stall. They're in neutral. They need to put it into drive.
And Kraus does have that ability to do that. We saw it yesterday, was at 16 from 18, 18 from 19. And then the next over ends up being 35 from about 21. So it doesn't take long to get himself going. This one's run, but just a backward point. Sarab Nethervalker, he's tightening the screws. Andres Kraus has to be careful not to throw away the wicket here.
Maybe he heard me in the end of the first inning, Saurabh Netravalkar. He said Della Penna has been running his mouth about this is going to be an easy chase for the Mustangs. I'll show him.
And if you are the Dallas Mustangs, you could think about not too many runs to go get. Required run rate still under 9. We can just not give a wicket to Saurabh and find ways to score big on other bowlers. We can just make it up. But the fact that he's bowling so well tightens things. This one, I think, caught a bit of the pads of Nethervalker. It ends up being 4, much to the dismay of the strikers. They felt it should have been cut off maybe to just 2, but ends up being 4 runs.
Well, Srini Raghavan, it's playoff time, my friend. You got to put your body out there. You got to dive, save 2 runs. Srini Raghavan, I don't think Saurabh Netravalkar was thrilled with that effort on the boundary. You're fighting for every run here. You got to put in a dive. We'll see them turn back for 2 and camera cut away, but Raghavan, arguably, if he lays out there, he's going to keep it to 2.
Almost felt like maybe he was just slow off the blocks as well. Didn't really pick it up off the hips of House, but 4 valuable runs for the Mustangs results in a change of angle. Seeing if he can't trouble House, who's seen a lot of Nethervalker around, now comes over. And back just to that defensive punch. If you want anyone to steer the ship from here, Peter, you feel House is the ideal member. Someone who's naturally playing up top of the order, can be aggressive at times, can slow things down. Really mature, and he's played all over the world. Just has so much experience.
Now another change of angle. Netravalkar trying to keep Andres Kraus off balance. Started around the wicket and switched to over the wicket. Previous delivery, now back around the wicket.
Helped into the leg side, just missed the length for the first time really today, Nethervalker. And Andres House says, thank you very much. I'll clip you over the top for 6.
Spoils a would-be maiden. 4 leg buys early in the over, and this one just 2 straight on the pads and beautifully timed. Not really much of a flourish or a follow-through. All risks there from Andres House. And spoils what would have been fantastic over. 10 runs from it, 6 off the bat. It's 20 for 2 after 5.
Well, we saw a big huddle from the Silicon Valley Strikers before the over, and they've elected to go with spin, and spin in the form of Shehan Jaisurya to close out this power play. It's a gutsy move to not give Sohi a third. They're going to save him for the death. But to go with Shehan, who's more known with the bat, did bowl in Major League at times, but this is a gamble. Is it going to pay off for the Strikers?
And it looks like he's taking a page out of the Rohan Mustafa playbook. Backwards cap, bowling. I like it.
It's a great style, I think, the backwards cap bowling. We see it in local club cricket around the country. Actually, my dad does that sometimes when he's coming in to bowl some off spin, the backwards cap. But I like to see it's being fashioned by someone like Shehan Jaisurya. We'll start off to Nimbolkar. In the air, but in the gap. Well played. And this is the risk in which you play. This matchup, Andrzej House does not need a second invitation to go big. But also, this might just allow these two to push into gaps and help themselves get singles. And I think that's the conversation Malanta's having with Shehan. These two obviously would know each other well. Both are originally from Sri Lanka. But I think you want to plug gaps and dare Andrzej House to go big. This is about the wickets here. The runs really don't have much hope of winning this just off runs. You're going to need 10 after the forward slash. In the air, fielder inside the ring. Didn't matter anyway. It was going to be 6 all day long. And that one is glorious for Andrzej House.
You talked about it before, Aman. Might have started slow yesterday, but picked up the pace quite quickly afterwards once he got his eye in. We're seeing it again here, just slightly overpitched. And after being on 3 off of 11 deliveries, he's now got back-to-back sixes.
Followed up with the dot ball, but like you mentioned, back-to-back sixes, and he doesn't need a second invitation. He's so confident, such a fluid stroke player that can get going so quickly. You don't want to give him any leeway. Pull the length back better from Shehan. And don't let him hit you down the ground, even if the wind blows. Such a great timer of the ball, and in the power play, with no long off, was always going to be a boundary. Flicked, beats mid-wicket inside the ring. Long gone gives chase, keeps it to just 1. But the runs in the over, they got what they needed, 8 from it. The gamble for Jaisurya, you have to imagine, is the wicket. They're thinking, can we take that wicket? Can we cash in on the pressure we've built? So far, the answer is no. Fine delivery of the power play. Make it a wide, an extra run conceded by Shehan. But this length, Peter, I think is a better length to be bowling on this surface. And just fended at late from Nimbolkar to close out the power play. One that was eventful. 6 overs gone, 29 for 2.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
6 overs gone here in the chase. Dallas Mustangs in pursuit of a target of 136 against Silicon Valley Strikers as Srinivas Raghavan comes into the attack. Their leading wicket taker coming into this playoff phase. 17 wickets at an average of 12.94 and 5.62 economy rate with a left arm spin. And concedes a single first up to Andres House. Fielding alignment. Deep third. Is it a deep third, or is it just Kushpalala pretending to be on as a subfielder? No, Kushpalala, the USA Under-19 player, is a subfielder. Not sure who he's on for at the moment. Cover sweeper, long off, long on. Or is he just standing there? They've got 6 fielders. No, Kushpalala is just standing there. He needs to put one of those bibs on. Come on, Kush.
Peter, you're familiar with the bibs that you got to wear when you're around the ground.
That's a no-no. It's a tisk in the match referee playbook. They've got a cover sweeper, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, and deep square leg on the boundary for Raghavan. And then in the ring, it's short third, backward point, extra cover, and mid-wicket. So nobody at fine leg. This one just fended out to extra cover. Pranay Suri doing the fielding.
And you're hoping Raghavan can just do what he's done all season. Be that wicket taker. Can you get one more? Can you get 2 more?
And again, trying to look for that single. Can't get it by Gary Graham. In the offside ring.
Nimbolkar comes up limping on that play as he tried to turn around. Just gonna be watchful. I think it was the right leg. They were just hobbling on.
Inside edge goes out to the backward square, and as you said, he's a bit gimpy trying to make it to the other end.
But this is the matchup to me. This is the prize. Andres Kraus, can you get his wicket? If you now can take this one and have the third in your back pocket and bring in Hamad Azam and Ali Sheikh early and get rid of the second leading run scorer in all of minor league cricket.
Gauss backs up and sends this a long way forward, over wide, long on. Big 6.
Well, we mentioned this to be the matchup. Andres Kraus said thank you very much. Pounced on the short one so quickly. Look how quickly he gets onto the back foot. In position. And just had to use the power. And once that flew off the bat, it was never coming back. 6 runs to close out the over. The Dallas Mustangs are loving what they're seeing from their opening batter.
37 for 2. We'll get that corrected. It should be 37 for 2 after 7. Pranay Suri, 12 wickets coming into this playoff phase at an average of 19.08, 6.54 economy. Taking on Nimbolkar to start off the 8th over. Just riding the bounce to just guide that wide of Malanta to short third for 1.
And Nimbolkar understanding his role here. Doesn't need to look to hit big. Find one. Let Andres Kraus do the bulk of the hitting. He's in full flow now. 23 from 18. That last 6 he hit into the stratosphere. And let him just take the risk and keep the runs moving.
Deep square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and cover sweeper in place for House. Short final leg in the ring, along with short third, backward point, extra cover. And he goes back to flick this out to deep mid wicket, where Krish Balala is on now as a subfielder.
He's keeping you on your toes, Peter, making sure that you're aware of all the situations.
And he's on for Saurabh Netravalkar, who is walking behind us now, the broadcast area. Just going for a comfort break from the looks of it. And this one will be an extra. Wide called. Can't afford to give freebies defending such a low target. Pierces the gap at extra cover, and it's going to beat Sundaresan at wide, long off. Elegant from Nimbalkar. He's getting into the act now with his first boundary.
Right out of the textbook for an extra cover drive. Given the width that was full, and said a couple balls ago, just needs to facilitate. When he gets an opportunity to free his hands, he's going to miss out. And does so there, does it to perfection, picks up 4.
This time just chipping it wide of Surrey. Maybe could have done a little bit better to get something behind that ball to prevent a single, but instead it goes to Ravindra Singh, long on for 1.
Pranay Suri's picked up 12 wickets on the season, an economy under 7 in his 10 innings, and Silicon Valley Strikers are looking to spin, they're looking at spin and looking for it to be what's going to bring him the wicket. Suri needs to be it.
This time Jaya Surya will intercept that one at extra cover. Dot ball ends the over. 7 off the bat, 8 runs total, 45 for 2 after 8. Starts the 9th over, and this one will be just a single to Ravindra Singh at long off.
Again, they're looking at their 2 spinners as wicket takers here, and that's what they're going to need. This is a game that's almost setting up, despite maybe the slow nature of it. 90 runs needed from under 12 overs. It's not a huge thing to ask, but a couple wickets can change that. Already 2 wickets down. This is the man who's led this team in wickets, Srinivasa Raghavan.
As good as he is, 17 wickets coming into this week. He's actually the 2nd best cricketer in his family. His wife, Sugeta, Kalyanaraman Chandrasekharan, who's played for the USA women's team. So this one is flicked out to deep mid-wicket for one. It's quite a mouthful. Did I get all that out right?
You got it all out there, Peter. I was very impressed. Very impressed by that. But
South Indian names can be tongue twisters.
And this seems to be kind of a trend with the Silicon Valley Strikers, with relatives or family members, significant others that have represented the USA. Dev Tadani not here today, but sister Sahani Tadani, member of that USA team as well.
Don't need to practice that one as much. Sahani Tadani just rolls off the tongue. Thank you, Rajiv and Simran, for naming your kids very simple names. This one goes down the leg side for a wide.
And the simple things need to be done right from the Silicon Valley Strikers' perspective. You got to control what you can control here and just try to build the pressure. Don't need to force it. Yes, you want to take wickets at a consistent clip, but just produce your best delivery as often as you can and keep the Mustangs reaching, keep the Mustangs searching for runs.
And Balker onto the back foot. He's going to get 2 for this. Long way to go to relay that one back in for the cover sweeper. So they'll pick up a couple. And it's the end of the over. 50 for 2 after 9. Pranay Suri. Start off the 10th over here. And what a shot that is. Top class from Andres Klaus. Didn't think it was going to reach the boundary, but Saurabh Netravalkar back on after spending an over 2 off. Tested immediately.
Well, it's just timing, Peter. Really timing. You can say Saurabh Netravalkar probably could have gotten a little bit quicker to that ball, but that one was timed to perfection and on a quick outfield. Always going to be tough for a deep mid-wicket.
And perhaps identifying a weak spot on the boundary. They've now moved Netravalkar out from that deep mid-wicket position. They put him inside the ring at extra cover. And they've put a different fielder out there at deep mid-wicket. Who looks like Arsh Butch. Arsh Butch is out there, number 40, a former U.S. Under 19 player out of California. And there's that scoop shot. We've seen it played so many times today from all the teams that have taken the field in this doubleheader. And very effective from Nimbalkar to collect another boundary.
Well, how about this? It's the early movement here. Moves outside of the stumps. And with no fine leg there, just said, all right, thank you very much. Predicted what the line and the length was going to be. And once he had himself in position, it was just easy pickings for 4.
This time they're going to look for 2. There's a big gap at mid-wicket in the ring. Nobody fielding there, but Suri does a good job off of his own bowling to collect that, to keep it to just 1.
And that's just good batting, Peter. Understanding that they took the fielder outside of mid-wicket, put him in to that fine leg position, knowing there's a gap, but just turn your wrists, get one. We have 2 boundaries in the over. Keep runs ticking. Keep runs ticking. Give that net run rate a boost. It's just smart from Nambolka and House.
This time again, they're going to look for that 2. Gauss wants it. He's charging back all the way, putting pressure on the fielder, and it works.
Again, just good cricket. Just good cricket from the Dallas Mustangs and Andres Gels. That little flick into a vacant mid-wicket region inside the ring. Then knowing backwards square where he was stationed. Long way to come in, and would have been tight had he thrown it at the non-strikers in, but how quick they were, put that pressure, resulted in that drop.
And now going the other way, this is top drawer stuff from Andres Gauss. Back-to-back boundaries in this over for him. Got one earlier through the onside to start it, and then bookends it with one through cover to finish the over.
It's just glorious. It's just glorious. On the back foot, the weight transfer perfect, times it, picks the gap. This is Andres Gels at his very, very best to close out this 10th over, 66 for 2.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Just 70 runs to go here from the final 10 overs. Aman Patel, Peter De La Pena. He's got to run to the airport. He's headed out to Bermuda. And now we're going to miss him here. And I know all of you at home watching are going to miss Peter De La Pena as Srinivasa Raghavan comes in the bowl. Again, just good cricket. I understand the thinking from the strikers. Leave mid-wicket open, get them to turn their wrists. Maybe a leading edge, maybe just play all around it. But while it's open, the Mustangs just continue to milk your single there. House is already striking it so well, and Nambolka has found good rhythm to match him. House leaves that one alone, as it was just quicker through the air from Raghavan. And curious to see what the plans are. How do you create this wicket? Width offered, driven nicely, but we'll find a fielder for one. This is the game from here, not needing to do much more. Just a hair over 7 and over required from here. So it doesn't have to force the issue, either of these Mustang batters. Little dab down, and this is what Raghavan does very well, the flight and then that little dip. You saw Nambolka wanting to come forward and attack, and then that dip late, he had to adjust. That's where Raghavan's at his tip-top best. Quicker, switch hit comes out. No fielder in that area, and that'll go for 4, and that'll bring a smile to Peter De La Pena's face, the big fan of the reverse sweep, and does it in full spades. How about this? We've already seen an ovation from him. This time, turns all around. No one at deep third. It's always a risky shot with that ball on stumps, but plays it to perfection. Finds 4. Could call that the shot of the day from Nambolka and Raghavan. There's not much wrong with that delivery. He's on middle stump. Letting it spin, but Nambolka too good on that occasion. And then again, the smart batting comes back out. A single to close through mid-wicket, a vacant region. At the end of the 11th, it's 73 for 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
Well, the strikers, they need an answer, and they need it fast, and they're going to turn to Arch Bush, the former USA under-19. Bush is going to have a really tough task on his hands here if he wants his team to not be eliminated effectively out of this 2023 minor league. Down the leg side, it's going to be wide, going to be 4. Srinivas Raghavan giving chase, but he ends up saving it. The 2 runs, and Lahino Malanta's so good behind the stumps. It's hard to get anything by him. Hit a well down that leg side and picks up 2 off the wide. Can't afford any of those. You can see the aggressive nature of Malanta wanting to keep up to Bush. Through mid-wicket again. And then with the angle Bush is creating, you might almost want the batters to go in to out on him. Maybe bring a fielder from cover, move him into mid-wicket. Don't give him that. Instead, make him play through covers. If you were to think about Sarbnath Thavalkar and his highlights through Major League Cricket, how did he pick up that wicket of Shadab Khan or Marcus Stoinis, getting them to play through covers, not this. This is far too easy with the angle over the wicket. And the misfield won't give up an extra run. And Balker was never interested in it. And the thing is, giving an apology there to Khaus. He kind of just put the brakes on. Emergency brake was on as well. But like I'm saying, I think tactically if you're the strikers, take that fielder out of cover, move him into mid-wicket, and don't let him just play with the angle. Make him play against it. And that's your best opportunity to pick up that 3rd wicket you're so desperately needing. Pushed into the offside. And as I say that, they hit it straight to cover. Almost typical of the commentator's curse. Almost comical as well. Again, not a lot of work left to be done. 58 runs required. Just above 8 overs to go. And just some movement by the side screen. That's why Nimbalkar sent Bush back. Bush not turned to with the ball often. But again, in this dire situation, they've gone to him. Too easy to flick that one. There's just that single's on offer. I just feel maybe plug it up again if it's someone taking it away from the right-hander. I can understand, or you're going to keep it outside the off stump and are daring him to flick it from there. But right now, with the angle that's consistently on middle and leg, I almost feel that cover isn't needed. Make him hit there. Again, far too easy to whip one. This is all the Mustangs need. They'll keep this going. We've already seen the ability to get that odd boundary. And they don't need anything more than this. Again, a loss for the strikers here takes them out of any contention of Championship Sunday. They'd fall just short for the 2nd year in a row. The Mustangs, they won on opening day, so they've got themselves in a good spot. Even a loss here, they're not out of it, but a win would almost guarantee you, depending on the result of the games tomorrow and the game happening at the other end. It's actually an interesting game happening between the East Bay Blazers and the Lone Star Athletics. 53 needed and 6, but Shimmer and Johnny still in the middle. 12 overs gone, 81 for 2. They go into the trump card once again. It's going to be Raghavan. Can Raghavan find himself a wicket? Find his first, break this partnership that's just brewing and cruising at the moment. Mid-wicket still open. Outside edge nearly. And looking to play all along the ground. That's why it doesn't carry. But again, for Raghavan, I understand keeping mid-wicket open. Someone who's keeping it outside the off stump, or when it's on stumps, the ball would usually leave the right-hander. So you create an edge opportunity. Just there as it's gone through Molanta. Don't see many get through him. It'll be a couple of runs as it just halts to a stop at the boundary. But again, similar there, the ball can leave. It can go in any direction, but it's not a bad place to be. But when we talk about someone like an Arch Bush, where the ball continues to come in to the right-hander, it's far too easy for these two batters to just roll their wrists over into where the leg side, there's no opportunity to take a wicket. Rather, from there, let them roll their wrists, dot ball. Dot ball, dot ball, dot ball. They try to go into out, can lead to that wicket. Outside the off stump. A little bit of a fumble, a short cover will lead to a quick single taken. So close in the end. Fighting for every run are the Silicon Valley Strikers. Got a sense that their championship hopes are dwindling with every passing delivery. Mustangs, heavy favorites in this tournament, knew that they had a really good opportunity to win this whole thing. Thought it last year, many fans of minor league cricket. But this year there was a little doubt in many people's minds. Strikers have an opportunity to play spoiler with something miraculous. Pushed into the leg side, will fetch himself one. And again, it's the reason you have the Mustangs favorites. Yes, you're going to talk about 8 major leaguers on the side, but it's not just you have 8 major leaguers. You have major leaguers in different roles. You don't have 8 top order batters. You have you have 3 genuine top order batters. You have individuals like Hamada Zamanali, Sheikh, Corey Anderson, all 3 of whom are middle order bats who can be explosive when they need to be, take their time when they need to as well. And then you have guys like Nash Kenjige, Ihsan Adil, just round that team out. In the air, taken. Could be in vain, but a wicket nonetheless for Srinivas Raghavan to close out this 13th over. Nimbalkar just looking to go through covers, but lifting it straight to that man inside the ring. You take a second look. Again, just fuller and length, and just got under it. And a really sharp catch there at cover. Sharp catch there at cover. And that was all she wrote for Nimbalkar. A good innings comes to an end. And then the over comes to an end as well. 13 gone, 85 for 3. strikers, another meeting after that wicket. They'll believe for a moment as Hamad Azam comes in. Arch Bush has the ball in hand. Again, to me, mid-wicket's got to come into play. Take out backward point. Haven't seen a ball in that area. Not with how full he's been. Bush, you could even be a little bit aggressive and take cover out. But they've elected to not to. As it's hit straight down the ground. Work to be done. Long off can't do it. It'll be 4 runs. Andres Kraus, he showed off the timing. And on this quick outfield, races away. Outside the off stump of that time, fuller in length. And again, far, far too easy for someone like Andres Kraus to just push it down the ground. And if this is the line that Bush is going to bowl, mid-wicket's fine. You don't need that mid-wicket fielder. But anything, if he's going to be on middle and leg again, I would say bring that cover fielder over. We'll see how he continues to attack this over. I like the aggressiveness from Malanta in terms of keeping up to the stumps to the medium pacer, making the batters play off the surface. We've seen him do it time and time again. There's a dab down, quick single, they'll get it. A misfield in the ring, could lead to 2. Hamad Azam has overrun the strikers in, but jogs his way back. Can't afford those things, can Silicon Valley Strikers. A good start to the over for the Mustangs. And they'll inch their way closer to Championship Sunday. Full straight, it's hit straight. Work to be done, we'll keep it to just 1. Again, mature innings from Andres Kraus, who's quietly moved to 47. Just off 35 deliveries. This is, again, just how Andres Kraus can take over a game. We saw him do it in just 25 balls, get to 44. Then here today, 35 balls, get to 47. 2 different types of innings needed, and he can play both. Azam flicks it into mid-wicket for 1. So 1 lusty blow away from Andres Kraus, getting his second half century in 2 days. Arch Bush will be looking to play spoiler. The second pick in the Major League draft, second in runs in minor league. Gets it into covers for 1. We'll have to wait a little while longer. It'll come in the next over. Hamad Azam fresh to the crease. That's the man you're eyeing. If you're Arch Bush, likes to play that big shot, has a tendency to play it, and you can just tempt him almost to opening things up. Instead, just drives it, this time wide of long off. Does well and keeps it to 1 to close out the 14th over, 95 for 3.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Going back to pace, and it's the pace in the form of Sohi. Was very, very quick in his first spell. Picked up the wicket of Sujit Gowda. So we'll get to see what he can do here. Can he pick up Hamad Azam or Andres House? House only played the one ball delivery from him, even though he opened the batting with Sohi opening the bowling. And Hamad Azam will have to get used to this pace fairly quickly. Got a man who lives in Canada now, and great to see minor league as a cross borders kind of a tournament. In the air for a moment, sent back is Andres Kraus. Very, very nearly the end of him. Hamad Azam didn't want to test mid-on. But talks of maybe future expansion for minor league. Getting into our friends up north, into the great white north, the Canadian side. Because you manage a Toronto team in minor league cricket. This one's short. Pushed through to third man. Saurabh Netravalkar does well. Keeps it to 1. Andres Kraus now on 48. On the verge of the second half century for him in this playoff structure. And on the verge of what would be his 6th half century on the season. Again, has only seen the one delivery of Sohi on strike, even though both were part of that opening spell. See how he deals with the pace. Let's push down the ground, and again, Sohi's created some awkward interactions for batters. No one's looked real fluent against him. Getting good bounce on the surface. Uses that seam-up delivery well, and that's why he's been called upon. Can he produce a wicket? Can he just create some intrigue in the match? This one a wide. Try to take pace off, but just misfires that time. Speaking of matches with playoff implications and things that are getting intriguing, what once was a mouth-watering affair between the East Bay Blazers and the Lone Star Athletics has just gone awry. Shubham Ranjani was in just a couple deliveries ago, but loses his wicket. So does Ravindu Gunasekara. And now it's 37 from the final 4, with 4 wickets in hand. Make that 3 wickets in hand. This one's pushed into the offside. Could come back for a second, will, and that'll be the half century for Andres Kraus. Well deserved, well played. Very mature innings from that man there who's made the journey down from the Seattle Thunderbolts. His 2nd half century in playoff terms, his 6th on the season. And he's done his side very, very well. Such a good stroke player, able to accelerate when he needs to. 50 off 38. Remember, it was 3 off of 7. And some people worrying about that strike rate. If he's ever going to find that flow, can just turn gears very, very quickly. This one beats Andres Kraus through to Lahiru Malanta. And they'll be 1 away from that 100. So tomorrow becomes a very, very big game between the Mustangs and the Blazers. Both teams will have 2 wins, so it just becomes an eliminator. It's very simple. You win that game, and you advance to championship Sunday. Again, barring something miraculous from the Strikers or the Lone Star Athletics, that's going to be the situation that we'll see tomorrow. And we hope we see you tomorrow. Right back here, starting at 10 o'clock Central Time. And 10:15 as well. And again, Sohi showing off the pace. Really well done. 15 overs gone, 99 for 3.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Well, Arch Bush will come back dealing with Hamad Azam and Andres Kraus. Again, with this field outside the off stump, and that's where you're going to want to operate. Just the 37 runs needed from the final 5 overs. Not a tall task. You're not out of it if this is Silicon Valley Strikers, but you're going to need wickets to change this game. And there it is. That's where you want to be. Hamad Azam is a free-flowing player, likes to throw his hands to the line. If you give him width, you can get that opportunity for the wicket. Keeping it out of his arc, not letting him attack the onside. And that's where this field comes in handy, with that type of delivery. Gets through, stumped. I'm not sure was he bowled or some. We'll take a look at this, but the zing stumps light up. We'll wait for confirmation on how it was, but it's just come back in. Missed his line for his first couple of overs this time. Gets it right and knocks off the top of middle stump. Really well done that from Arch Bush, and a twist in the tail. The captain goes. 99 for 4 now of the Dallas Mustangs. Gonna take another look at this. It's just the movement back in, even this late. It's just come back in, exposes the gap between bat and pad, and knocks off the bails. Malanta lights up. And the Mustangs are gonna need someone to steady the ship. Because how about this? The Dallas Mustangs now are 4 down as Oli Sheikh strides out into the middle. And when we talk about what's happening at the other ground, this game is coming to an end. 8 wickets down at the other ground, and wickets falling in quick succession. The Silicon Valley Strikers are going to want to take what's happening at Prairie View 1 and move it to Prairie View 6. That's what they'll need to do to get a win here and create an upset. Bush now dealing with the left-handed shake. Outside edge, no run on offer, and all of a sudden, there's a little pressure in the game. You can just feel a little tension for the first time today as the Mustangs are stuck on 99. Ali Sheikh got out cheaply yesterday, so this is going to need to stick in, push for 1, let Andres Kraus do the rest. Down the leg side, flicked in for 1. Good work as Ali Sheikh brings up his first runs and the 100 for the Dallas Mustangs. Just 36 left. And this is why Peter De La Pena was saying, if you could get to 140, anywhere above 140, it becomes a real tough task. But the Strikers have done well with that bowling. Starting up front with Saurabh Netravalkar, his first 3 overs, so what he did with his first 2. And Arch Bush now creating something. In the air for a moment, but away from Bush enough. Picks up a single, does Andres Kraus. He feels if he's got to be in for the rest of the match. That'll close out the 16th over, 101 for 4. Well, one delivery left. 101 on the board. And Ali Sheikh now will have to face off this final delivery of the over. Another opportunity for Bush to take a wicket. Sun has just started to creep out of the clouds, and is this what the strikers needed? Really picturesque scenes on your screen there. Lovely shot presented by the entire production crew. Final delivery to the over. Beats the outside edge of Ali Sheikh, and a dot ball to close things out. So at the end of 16, still 101 for 4. And all of a sudden, there's just a little bit of a game on our hands. 35 runs left for the Dallas Mustangs to get in 4 overs. Not a tall task, but the required run rate for the first time really above 8. And just something on the cards here. Again, the strikers just trying to play spoiler, trying to keep themselves alive in this 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship. It'll be Saurabh Netravalkar they give the ball to. Tucked into the leg side for 1. Again, Netravalkar, I like the move to have him in here because with runs on the board, there's just a little bit of pressure for the batters. They have to score, you feel, and you have to deal with Netravalkar. Now, if you're the Mustangs, you would just say, last over of Saurabh, get your singles, get through the over, and we'll attack the later bowlers. This is not the man you want to attack. Again, we read it earlier, and we'll read the stat again. Saurabh Netravalkar, the only bowler in the entire league to have more than 14 wickets at an economy under 5.5. That's why he was such a hot commodity in Major League Cricket. And Kraus runs through for that single off the body of Ali Sheikh. And where does this wicket come? What's the delivery? You have to imagine the Yorker's going to come out at some point. Let's see how he does it again. This game has just started to become something. 33 needed. The required run rate jumps to 9 now. Haven't seen that boundary late. Flourishing through the offside will fetch 1. And you have to imagine this is the man you want to attack, Ali Sheikh, if you're Saurabh Netravalkar. Andres Kraus looks so far set that he's not going to throw the wicket away. Ali Sheikh still new to the crease that you can just deceive him. Maybe try to hit his way out of a situation. Or maybe it's the Yorker that's just too good. But nonetheless, Netravalkar's going to need a second wicket in this over for the Strikers to feel they have a chance. Just defended away. Different type of role for Ali Sheikh today. And Ali Sheikh, what he's done, just the 4th leading run scorer on this side. 154 runs at a strike rate of 146. The high score of 74. Such an impressive young man. And again, filling in for the role of Corey Anderson, who would have been in around this situation. But Ali Sheikh, known for what he can do with the bat. This is one of the reasons that's why he's such a good young player. It's because of his ball striking. Right now, it's going to be about getting through the over. 2 balls left. Pushed into the offside. We'll get 1. Good work. Last ball of Netravalkar's day. This is it. You know he's going to need the wicket. Andres Kraus will be more than happy to leave it alone, to just get a single, play a dot ball. Wouldn't expect him to look to play big. We'll see what he has in store. Third man stays deep, deep cover. Mid off inside the ring, long gone. Deep mid wicket, deep backward square. Daring Kraus to go up and over that mid-off fielder. And it's just away. Just away. It'll be 4 runs to close it. Malanta's so good behind the stumps, but just out of his reach. And he's on the ground and hands on knees for Netravalkar because he knows this was the moment. Genuine edge. And again, just high and to the right of Lahida Malanta. Holds himself to such a high standard, but even the wicketkeeper of his caliber wasn't coming down with that. At the end of 17, it's 109 for 4.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
.27 from the final 3 as Harsh Bush will bowl his final over. Ali Sheikh down the ground. Chance of a catch. Taken. And how about this? You just felt with the pressure brewing that something rash was going to happen, and it's the young man who's just looking to go straight back over the top. And Harsh Bush got his second wicket of the day. In trouble now for the Dallas Mustangs. Take a second look at this. It's pitched up. He's looked to take it outside, from outside the off stump towards the wide line. That's the reason he hasn't got all of it. And made it look really easy. That long gone. And how about this? The game is just taking a twist in the tail, and as one left arm spinner goes, the next one comes on. Nash Kenjige comes out to the middle. Again, with East Bay winning, or on the verge of winning, they'll have 2 wins. Dallas would want to have this win here to make it basically a qualifier tomorrow. You win and you're into Championship Sunday. But a loss here, the ball would be in East Bay's court. They win and they're in. And Naj Kenjige, as he strides out into the middle, this is someone who's much improved with the bat. But pressure is a funny thing. All of a sudden, it's 27 from the final 17. Andres Kraus has looked good. He's going to need to do the bulk of the scoring. But he's going to need someone to last alongside him. Push down the ground. We'll get one. Gets off the mark. Again, the burden of this is going to fall on Andres Kraus, the opening batter. This is what he's made for. This is the situations the Mustangs say. This is why we've brought you down from the Seattle Thunderbolts. Finish this game off. It's 57 from 44. Just needs 26 more. Looks to go down the ground. No chance for any fielder. Struck brilliantly. Unbelievable that from Andres Kraus. We've seen it time and time again. It's not a huge swing of the bat. It's just the timing. Again, pitched up from Bush here. You just see it. Saw it all the way and just helps himself. Not a big flourish on that bat face. Just times it over the top and no chance for any fielder. This one tickled into the leg side, calls for two. Nosh is quick, and a fumble in the outfield is going to let them come back. Would have been close with a pickup clean. But Andres Kraus has understood the situation, knows he's got to get the majority of strike and finish this thing off. 18 runs now left to get for the Dallas Mustangs. And I think Kenjige just had a word with his partner at the other end, says, I'm looking for two the whole way. You call me off of it. If there's no call, I'm coming back. This one clipped out straight to long on. No chance for two. And just having a look at the ball, Marsh Bush just wanted the umpire to see it. Said it's all right. Bowl to find delivery of the over. Marsh Kenjige's just got to fend it off. This one has turned into a game out of nowhere. And Kenjige will find one. They could come back for two. House wants it. Chance of a run out. Direct hit would have been close. But House comes back and, more importantly, retains strike for the next over. 121 for 5 after 18. $15 from 12. That's the equation left. And this Pacific Conference Super 4. Dallas Mustangs, they're on the verge of creating a qualifier for tomorrow. But the Silicon Valley Strikers, they want to keep their hopes alive. It's going to be Iswa Jatsoi with the ball in hand. And why not? He's bowled so well. 3 overs for just 6 runs. He's taken a wicket as well, and he's troubled the batters. Good pace. Let's hit the bat hard, but the question becomes, who bowls the final over? Saurabh Netravalkar bowled out. Arsh Bush bowled out. Srinivas Raghavan's bowled out. It's going to be one of Surya or Jayasuriya. Oh, how about this? What a start for Andres Kaus. Latched onto the short ball. Given the freedom to free his arms. And the first time we've seen anyone feel comfortable with Sohi. You just take another look at this. Again, it was short, but it was just the width on offer. And even then, still was pretty well directed. But Andres Kaus has just been in the middle for so long. Seeing the ball so well. And that takes so much pressure off of the rest of this run chase. 9 runs left to get. Again, the hope here for the strikers were to have a quiet over and give one of Jayasuriya or Pranay Suri an opportunity to have maybe 10 to 12 runs in their back pocket to defend. Slower ball chipped into the leg side and vacant of any of the fielders. Really well placed from Andres Kaus. Back-to-back boundaries. And he's not going to wait any longer, Andres Kaus. That's 4 runs there. 10 from the first 2. And just 5 runs left to go get. Again, not looking to overhit this. It's just straight down the leg side. He's picked the slower one and just put it straight in the gap. No one there at Cal corner. House knew it straight away. All right, so you've given up 2 boundaries. Now you got to take a wicket. That's what it's going to be. This is the man to get. Pushed into the leg side. Wants to. Chance of a run out here. Not going to be. Naj Kenjige's quick. And just 3 runs to go get. Andres Kaus has been in there from the very first delivery. You can see it's taking a toll. Tired, gas, and the task won't get easier tomorrow. Let's put it all on the line for the team here today. Kept for 20 overs. Opened the batting. He's going to be in here for 20 more. This one chipped in the air. It's going to fall short of the fielder. Just be 1. 2 runs left to get now. And for Naj Kenjige, don't need to force a run here. Just sit in. Play these last 2 deliveries off of Sohi, but that man on your screen. Man of the match yesterday, and your clear man of the match today. 79 from 51. And if it holds up, it's going to be a match-winning innings for his side. Second time he's gotten them out of a spot of bother. Giving them a big-time win in these Pacific Conference Super 4s. Wide, and scores are level. Just 1 run left to go get. And what was setting up to be a salivating finish has been cut dry. Those first 2 balls going for 10 runs, and that was all that the Mustangs needed. Wind underneath their wings. Cover comes inside the ring along with mid-wicket. Still deep backward square, fine leg and deep third. And that could be another wide. It will be. Finishes it with the wides. That's the match there. The Dallas Mustangs, they get it in an anticlimactic finish. But Andres Kaus, that man on your screen, 1 innings it's been for him to get his side over the line. And the Mustangs, they claim 2 in this playoff week. So that means tomorrow it's going to be a decider. East Bay, Dallas. You win, and you're into Championship Sunday. Take a look at this for the Mustangs, and you're just going to look at the highlighted name, Andres Kaus. 79 from 51. the biggest innings of the day. Had a partnership with Nanad Nimbalkar, 26 from 32. But clear front runner from player of the match, 79 from 51. Andres Kraus with the ball in hand. Decent bowling all around. Pranay Suri was expensive, but you saw Saurabh Netravalkar, 4 overs, 22 runs, and a wicket. Should have really been 2 had Noman Anwar in the very first delivery. Had Andres Kraus as well. Arch Bush takes 2 wickets, but that was all it was. Just a lot of would have beens and could have beens and should have beens. The Mustangs, they execute, they get the win, and they'll be headed over tomorrow with 2 wins in hand. Andres Kraus, what a performance it was from him. Thank you so much for joining us throughout today's play of cricket at this Prairie View Cricket Complex. I'm Om Patel for Peter De La Pena and our entire production crew headlined at Minor League Cricket. We thank you for joining us, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. East Central. As Jadiwala gets this one through covers, very well done. This is a man who's played for USA, and he'll pick up 4 runs. I am on New York, because he can do this up top. Down the track, finds the gap, will find 4. So often you'll see Malanta skip down the ground in search of runs, finds. This time cut through the offside, gets it in the gap, and it'll race away towards the boundary, and he'll pick up 4 more. Back-to-back boundaries for Malanta. And Malanta goes straight down the ground. It'll be 4 runs. He's had enough of Ihsan Adil. And just swings his hands through the line. Looking for the big pull, Rahul Jadiwala. And he's given. He's just edged it through to Andres Kraus, who makes no mistake. Short, pulled away. As easy as you like for Lahiro Malanta. Picks up 6 runs. This time through the offside, but fielder pitched up, and that's the result. Malanta knew it straight away.
Going for the scoop, and that's the end that it's been successful all day long with the wind blowing that way. Good recognition by Jayasuri.
Build this partnership.
Back of the length, good ball, but an even better shot from Zatan Darson. Goes for 4 to bring.
For Jayasuriya, who's such an avid sweeper of the ball.
Goes for it again, connects sweetly. High and deep over mid-wicket for...
Colin Edwards deeming it a wide.
Another big heave of sky. This time he induces the top edge, charging it from deep mid-wicket and taking a superb catch again. Oh, he's shit. Edge eludes Andres Kraus, and it eludes the deep. Kenjige skies another one. He's running back for it and can't hold on. That would have been an extraordinary effort and also good.
I think calling off Ramesh the wrong move there.
This time Singh with fine leg open. Clever coming across his thumb.
Down the track, outside edge. Nearly a one-hander. Was back that Nash and Ali can provide. Cut aerial away from the fielder at covers. Work to be done. And won't be able to do it yesterday, but we've seen it through the majority of today. This time into the leg side, fielder in place, but it won't matter. Back to back, this time bigger and better.
Guys are effective in different ways.
Looking for it. Says no. Ali.
It's going to be her.
Short, pulled. That's the release shot they needed. That was the ball they were waiting for. And a massive. Too easy. Far too easy. Looking to go down the ground. And all it was the wicket. All he could do was just chip it. Just the faintest of edges out to Andres. In the air, just away from backward point. Would have been an absolute stunner. An edge that beats slip. Very little batting. Another edge falls short. Needed to defend 7 runs, couldn't do it. That's why the strikers are here. Bowled him. Noman Anwar has been struggling. This time short. Big shout given. Sujin make it up, but the fact that he's bowling so well tightens things. This one, I think, caught a bit of the pads of helped into the leg side, just missed the length for the first time really today. In the air, fielder inside the ring. Didn't matter anyway. It was going to be 6 all day long. Minor league cricket.
Gauss backs up and sent. Pierces the gap at extra cover, and it's going to beat Sundaresan. Renee Suri. Start off the 10th over here, and what a California. And there's that scoop shot. We've seen it place.
How quick they were, put that pressure, resulted in that drop.
And now going the other way. This is top drawer stuff.
Dragolan's at his tip-top best. Quicker, switch hit comes out. No fielder in that area. Okay, Ihsan Adil. Just round that team out. In the air, taken. We're out. But they've elected to not to. This is hit straight down the ground. Work to be done. Long off can't do it. This one's pushed into the offside. Could come back for a second, will, and that'll be the half century for that type of delivery. Gets through, stumped. That mid-off fielder. Edge just away. It'll be 4 runs to close. So Harsh Bush will bowl his final over. Ollie Sheikh down the ground. Chance of a catch. Taken. And how about this? You just felt with the pressure brewing for. Just needs 26 more. Looks to go down the ground. No chance for any fielder. Struck brilliantly. Bowled out. It's going to be one of Surya Jayasuriya. Oh, how about this? What a start for Andres. Runs in their back pocket to defend. Slower ball chipped into the leg side, vacant of any of the fielders.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.